to her death. Relatives and friends held a vigil outside the Crowne Plaza yesterday. Jenkins' death was ruled accidental. The coroner's office says the body of a 20-year-old man has been found nearly 2 weeks after his kayak capsized on Lake Michigan, north of the city of Chicago. Lake County Coroner's Office says Sebastian Duncan's body was found over the weekend. One of the third-party candidates running for Illinois governor wants the state to stop paying for abortions immediately. State Senator Sam McCann filed a plan to reverse the state's new law that has taxpayers covering the cost of abortions in the state. HB 40 says Sam McCann is immoral, reckless, and financially irresponsible. Western Illinois crowing a little bit this morning about its latest honor, the University in Macomb, yesterday announcing it is now considered the 10th best regional public university in the Midwest. Western President Jack Thomas says it is the 14th straight year that Western has made one of the top U.S. News and World Report lists. Monday Night Football. Jets jolt the Lions 48-17 in Detroit. Raiders crushed in a 33-13 loss to the L.A. Rams. Boy, it's getting tight in the NL Central. Brewers now trail the Cubs only by one game after a win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field 3-2. The Royals trimmed the White Sox 4-3-10. Jose Abreu had 3 hits in his return from the DL. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:07, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America and by Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business away. Pavement Solutions can get your parking lot in shape. With proper care, you can extend the life of your current lot with Pavement Solutions' certified specialty blend product called GemSeal Black Diamond Enduramax. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the best seal coat product in the industry. It'll protect your lot from sub-zero temperatures to a scorching 110-degree sun and features an abrasive, non-slip coat for safety and durability. With Enduramax, your lot will have that brand new feel and look at a fraction of the price of a new lot. You and your customers will be safe, and your business will look great. For parking lot repairs to snow removal, go to fixmylots.org. That's fixmylots.org and get a free estimate. Plus, learn about getting 5% off your next job from Pavement Solutions. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
5:10, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
In northwest Indiana, I-65 northbound, 231 in Crown Point. The right lane is blocked, semi-fire. Traffic still fairly light in that area. Northbound I-55, seeing delays. Peyton Farm, US 30. It's after some earlier construction. Needs to reopen, so things should be improving there. Got I-57, traffic's a bit slow. Holstead, Ryan, 17 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Bishop Ford, 18 minutes. Delays from 103rd to the Ryan. The Ryan, traffic's building inbound. A little congestion approaching downtown. Outbound at 87th. The on-ramp is closed till 6 this morning. Edens, Kennedy, the Eisenhower looking good. No significant delays to report from tollways. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist, Madison Baggett.
Mostly sunny and pleasant again today, high 77. Expect clear skies this evening, winds south to southwest 4 to 8 miles per hour, low 59. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, high 78. I'm Madison Baggett on AM 560, The Answer.
58 in fog at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It is the 17th anniversary of 9/11, so we should recognize that. 17 years. Obviously, everyone remembers where they were on this fateful day in American history. Where were you?
I was at Channel 5. Well, I was called in early. They said, turn on the TV. So I turned on the TV and thought, oh, my God, what the world's gone mad. Jumped in my car. They sent me straight to the Hancock Center, and I sat there with Sergeant Mark Evans. I'll never forget because he's in the Army Reserve Unit with my brother-in-law at the time.
May he rest in peace.
And we were both, he was filling me in on all the information because he trusted me because he knows my family members and says, all right, there's one plane out of Indianapolis that they can't find. It was a big 757 that was going from Indianapolis to Phoenix, I believe. And there was F-16. They were going to scramble to try and get to communicate with him to land again back in Indianapolis. And they thought that somebody had hijacked that and was going to swing around and hit the Hancock or the Sears Tower. So we waited. They evacuated the Hancock. It was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Men let women get in front of them on the bus. There was no honking from taxi cabs. Those who couldn't get home or who were, there that were from foreign countries, they're all in the bar area at the Westin. Everyone slowly moved over to Fourth Presbyterian Church. Didn't matter what denomination you were.
Right.
And people prayed and cried. And that was just, and then everything else for the 2 weeks after that, we worked nonstop.
Now, when you were on assignment, did you wear your swimsuit or did you?
Stop. But I was supposed to fly out that night. I have a ticket, an American Airlines ticket, from September 11th, 2001. We were having a family reunion in Tucson that obviously never happened. And that the Dude Ranch we were supposed to go to in Tucson shut down because they went out of business because people didn't travel,
Right.
After that. But I still have that ticket in my scrapbook because we were supposed to fly out. But who cares? I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, I didn't go through anything like people went through,
No, obviously.
looking for loved ones. But
yeah.
it was intense times. And the building manager at the Hancock, her son worked in the World Trade Center. And she's still like, no, my responsibility, I have to be here. I have to be here. And thankfully, her son got out alive. He didn't go back in because so many people went back into the second building. He didn't. He left because he had a family at home.
Yeah, so taking stock of where we are 17 years later, think about sort of all the movements that were born and have since dissipated. I'm just thinking about this morning on the drive-in, the 9/12 movement. Remember the 9/12ers? It was this idea that on 9/12 we were all Americans, right? Yeah. Everybody came together and put, as you're sort of describing, the less important differences aside. And 17 years later,
I've never seen such civility in my life. I am not one horn was honking on Michigan Avenue. And it was a traffic jam. It was a mad rush to get out of the city, to get away from the skyscrapers. And people they were so cordial, not screaming, not panicking. And then everybody put their American flag out. That I'll remember that. I'll never forget that. Everyone. Were sent to the South Side, Lakeview, everywhere for the days after that. And everybody was so patriotic and so loving. The lines to donate blood were so long, and they didn't need the blood. And that was the sad thing. You had to tell people that were in line, this is there's not a lot of survivors in this.
Yeah, and
we're dead.
And it's not going to last. I mean, humanity is what it is, and you can only be sort of unified and put all the differences of opinion aside for so long. There's going to be conflicts that inevitably emerge, and people are going to pick their sides, whether it's on a particular issue or a particular candidate. And so it's never that moment after 9/11, the moment after Pearl Harbor, when a nation comes together, it's difficult to sustain, and that's okay, right? I mean, there's nothing sort of redeeming in faking it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just in terms of where we were at, what our understanding was of the threats the country faced, and where we are 17 years later, some things haven't changed significantly, like our presence in Afghanistan.
Right. That has
But certainly, it's just interesting to reflect. 17 years doesn't, at our advanced age, it doesn't seem like a long time. But I mean, think about all that has transpired in the 17 years since 9/11.
Where were you?
I had a future then, before I busted out and landed here. I was like a consultant, and so I was actually at a client's in Edison Park. And I was speaking with her, and she's like looking over. She's like, "What?"
Is that when you were turning tricks? Were you a client at the lady's house
on
a random Tuesday in September?
I was still building my book of business.
Oh, okay.
And so I would do house calls at that time.
All right.
I didn't command an audience, so.
Anyway, so
so she's like looking at. She's like, "What? Do you see what's going on? What is that going on the TV?" Because of course there was the picture of the smoke coming out of the World Trade Center, and so that's where I was that morning. And then I called a buddy of mine who was in New York. I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And the morning unfolded as it did.
One thing I did get to do was meet the United flight attendant or the United Airlines employee who took the call from Todd Beamer. And
let's roll.
Yeah, and she went through
Todd
that
Beamer,
whole,
let's roll. Yeah.
What happened and how she stayed on the line with him. He put the phone down. She said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, the flight attendants have hot water in their pots. We're ready. We're going to storm." Because she was filling him on the information about the other planes. So she had to let him know, and he told the other passengers what's happening. Because he was trying to get a hold of his wife, and he was asking her questions. I know other flight attendants were listening to air traffic controllers, too. But as a passenger, she let him know. Two crashed into the World Trade Center. One went into the Pentagon, and they knew that they were swinging around. That's when they decided, when he said, "Let's roll." And he's from Wheaton.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's a hero in Wheaton.
Talk about, New York's finest, the police, the fires, the first responders. Wheaton's finest, Todd Beamer. I watched this Jack Ryan series on Amazon, with Jim from The Office. Just as an aside, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. The guy who's great in it is the guy who played the cigar chopping cop in The Wire.
Oh,
he's really good. He's in
okay.
it. He's a CIA ops guy, but he talked about, and I don't know if this is apocryphal. I've never heard this story, so maybe I just missed it. There was this interchange between him and Jim from The Office. There, Jack Ryan. And he talked about how the ticket agent that took the tickets of the
Muhammad Atta?
Yeah, the hijackers that flew into the World Trade Center turned himself in after the event, after the attack, because he felt so guilty because he took the tickets and he saw these guys that were, dressed very professionally. Mm-hmm. But then he looked down at their shoe. This is how the story goes, how the story is told in the Jack Ryan series. He looked down at their shoes and saw like their shoes were sort of ratty. And so kind of like the shoes didn't match the rest of the outfit and sitting in first class and all that. and so he felt so guilty, overwhelmed by guilt because he didn't connect. I mean, it deservedly felt guilty, but felt guilty nonetheless because he didn't connect the dots and ask a question and try and stop them. Right? Did you ever hear that story?
I've never heard that story. The only story I heard was from my FBI agent friend who said that Muhammad Atta, when he was scoping out skyscrapers, did visit Chicago and made the cab driver drive by the Sears Tower at the time, but they chose not to attack here.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
When you're looking for a caring dentist and an experienced dental staff who'll treat you like family, then it's time to call Dr. Y at Oaklawn Dental LLC. Dr. Yerkes and his team will create a smile that you'll want to share with family and friends. Go to oaklawndentist.com for a complete list of services or call Oaklawn Dental for an appointment with Dr. Y at 708-424-5700. And for a limited time, get a $100 credit on your new account. Call 708-424-5700. Oaklawn Dental LLC for the smile you deserve.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Napa know-how. Right now, Mobil 1 Full Synthetic Motor Oil is $29.99 for a 5-quart jug. Its advanced formula provides maximum sludge protection, defending your engine like a catcher defends home plate. So, get top-notch engine protection with the Mobil 1 Full Synthetic 5-quart jug for $29.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 9/30/18. AM 560, The Answer.
So, it's weird. Bob Woodward's book comes out today. Who in their right mind would ever release a book on 9/11? I just think that's disrespectful, and Or is this, show that we're over this now? We're over 9/11. Business as usual.
Obama ghostwriter Bill Ayers would. Remember the book that he released dedicated to Sirhan Sirhan? That was released on 9/11. The 9/11, not the anniversary of.
Really?
Yeah. No, but he's a domestic terrorist and Obama's ghostwriter, so it stands to reason. I'll tell you, I can top that. How about Michael Moore's new documentary, quotation marks, Fahrenheit 9/11, right, about the Trump administration. Michael Moore was in Canada to preview it last week. And
I see he switched his Spartans hat for a Detroit Tigers hat.
He's
still packing on the LBs, though, huh?
He's
like in J.B. Pritzker territory now. He better watch that cholesterol.
Fashionista.
He smells, by the way, and I've met him several times. And he needs to shower.
I have not, and
so that's not just a look. That's what it is.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. That does not come
every
as a surprise.
time you walked into our newsroom in Detroit. Michael Moore's there. You can smell him.
It's vivid. Thank you.
I hope I can. Well, I just
come up with like a fragrance.
General hygiene needs to be.
That's what he needs.
Appreciated when people shower.
He needs a fragrance, both for marketing as well as literally for himself. He needs a fragrance.
Okay.
So he brought the A-Team in, the voice of a Generation Z, I guess, at least according to the DC Press Corps. David Hogg and the Parkland students, and it really is like a traveling band. David Hogg. And then there's some other Parkland students who shall essentially remain nameless because they never get the microphone. And why would they when you've got somebody so precocious like young Mr. Hogg with so much to say? Here's David Hogg addressing those in attendance to this Michael Moore premiere.
I have a question for you guys. Who's ready to save America?
They're in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. All right, we're friends, yeah.
Who's ready to make America the country that we say it is on paper and make it the actual country that it wants to be?
Well said.
Canada.
I wonder what his, wonder how he does in English class. Hogg went on to talk about the political activism and, the need for Canadians to vote, donate money.
I think Canadians can donate to political campaigns in the United States. They can't? Well,
he's the only one who didn't know that.
Well, vote here. Because.
Yeah, yay. Nice save.
Learn from us. Don't let this happen here because we need to come to you guys if we stay on this track.
Yeah.
Wait.
Don't let socialism happen to Canada. I don't know how to break it to you, David.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah. And hey, look, there's some other things he'd like to throw in. He's got some other random thoughts.
To the IRS, if you're watching on Facebook, why aren't you auditing the President of the United States who likely got $30 million from Russia via the NRA?
$30 million.
There's an active Department of Justice investigation into this that nobody's talking about. Also, we're still at war in Afghanistan. What the hell? Like, I'm 18 years old. That war was started 17 years ago. Think about that.
Yeah. Boy, David, you've given me a lot to think about. What the hell is one of the most incisive comments I've heard about the war in Afghanistan. This is David Hogg. This is the celebrated figure, the de facto CNN contributor, and Michael Moore. Opening act.
And then they took the mic from him because he wasn't making it. Okay, you're done. I mean, Michael Moore kept taking the mic back.
Yeah, Michael Moore took the mic from him to then do some third-grade impersonation of Donald Trump. So it actually got more sophomoric when Michael Moore took the microphone back. David Hogg and Michael Moore coming to a theater near you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Omarosa. She knows who the leaker is, and she says she's partially to blame for Hillary's loss. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Fair skies and heavy fog in areas this morning, 57 degrees. Florence remains a Category 4 hurricane. Strong storm surges and watches are up for the Carolina coast right now. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper issuing a state of emergency.
The forecast places North Carolina in the bullseye of Hurricane Florence. The storm is rapidly getting stronger.
More than 1 million people in the Carolinas and Virginia are under mandatory orders to evacuate before Florence hits. Jay Gray is on Carolina Beach, North Carolina.
Beachside. Things are just about perfect right now, but the situation along the South Atlantic shoreline is expected to change dramatically. Florence is a monster, a major hurricane visible from space, churning in the Atlantic, gathering strength and pushing toward the coast. Hundreds of thousands in the strike zone are getting ready, gathering plywood to board windows and sandbags to block floodwaters. There's been a run on generators and everything else needed to ride out the storm. Jay Gray, NBC News, Carolina Beach, North Carolina.
The Navy is sending all ships from its largest base, Hampton Roads, to sea to avoid Hurricane Florence this morning. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president has received a new letter from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
The primary purpose of the letter was to request and look to schedule another meeting with the president, which we are open to and are already in the process of coordinating that.
Sarah Sanders calling it a warm and positive letter. The Senate Judiciary Committee set to vote on Thursday whether to advance the confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. New York City will honor those killed during the 9/11 terror attacks this morning at Ground Zero. It begins around 8:30, 7:30 our time. Erin Coughlin lost her dad, a police officer, on 9/11, and today she's following in his footsteps as an NYPD officer herself.
It's a calling. You either want to do this or you don't want to do it. My purpose here is, to keep going and keep that legacy going, and I was going to do it no matter what.
The names of nearly 3,000 who died will be read aloud. Illinois' governor is asking those in this state to lower our flags. Governor Rauner asking for flags across the state to be flown at half-staff to commemorate the 9/11 attacks. Here in Chicago, no one is in custody after 3 teens were shot near Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's south side, close to 91st and Langley. Jury selection is set to resume in a Chicago police officer's murder trial. 3 women and 2 men were the first jurors chosen in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. Monday Night Football, Jets jolt the Lions 48-17. Raiders crushed by the LA Rams 33-13. Brewers edge the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley. It's getting a little tight. Brewers have climbed to within 1 game of the Cubs in the NL Central. Royals trimmed the White Sox 4-3 in 10. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees more and more evidence of a corrupt media.
Oh, ICE arrested a man who was trying to take his pregnant wife to the hospital to give birth. They found out he's wanted for murder. And as soon as they found out he's a murder suspect, the story, it just vanished. If you want an example of a corrupt news media, here it is.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Millwright work is often technical and requires a high degree of precision. The pros at Vans Industrial are skilled mechanics that can perform any type of millwright work, including installation and maintenance of your factory equipment and machinery. For your machine repair needs, look no further than Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial millwright contractor that can install new mechanical systems or repair existing systems. Our services include repair of bearings, shafts, shiv alignments, as well as installation of conveyors and bucket elevators. Our team of trained mechanics will respond to your emergency calls 24/7, keeping your systems operational. We're here to help you.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. That's 833-VANS-IND. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in?
Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eisenhower Expressway traffic is now heavy Manheim to First Avenue. It's about 32 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound still fine at 29. Eastbound Reagan Tollway has cleared up. Some earlier work. Fox River Bridge, Aurora Toll Plaza. Traffic's now moving well on I-88. Edens, Kennedy, still looking good. Inbound Stevenson, delay from before Central to Pulaski. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. But Ryan, it's heavy. Cermak, Burns Circle, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15, there's some road work, 87th split. I-57 okay, Bishop Ford Freeway tight, 111th to 103rd. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues. After your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, patchy morning fog, otherwise sunshine and 77 today, clear and 58 overnight. We'll top out at 80 tomorrow. Currently fog and 57 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
Don't miss David Clark and James O'Keefe at Freedom Summit 2018. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You know, we were talking about Michael Moore and David Hogg at the Canadian premiere of Fahrenheit 9/11. And just an aside, I don't know if you knew this, Michael Moore actually got a woman to marry him. A documentarian named Kathleen Glenn was with him for 23 years. They divorced in 2014.
Do they have any children?
I don't believe so.
That might be a good thing. All right, let me see a picture. I'm Googling her now. What's her name? Catherine?
Her name is Kathleen Glenn. But she's in court against Michael Moore. They had a business relationship that preceded their marriage and continued through it, of course. The suit claims that Michael Moore has walked away from a binding arbitration that was required to flesh out terms of an important provision in their property settlement. The upshot is she's basically saying that she is not getting her percentage of the interests from the combined work product of the parties' joint efforts as filmmakers. For example, he was supposed to pay her 4% of total revenue from his creative works, but gave her just $541 in 2014. That would mean he pulled in $13,000 during that 7-month period in 14. And remember, his estimated net worth is like $50 million.
Yeah. His wife is familiar. She's an actress, too.
Okay. Also, she says that she thinks, this is the fun part, that Moore is cheating the IRS.
Oh.
He's filing fraudulent tax returns. She said that he reported the income he reported to the IRS negative $350,000 in 2014 and negative $221,000 in 2016. She doesn't think that those are honest numbers. Oh boy, I hate to see Michael Moore hoist by his own IRS petard. Wouldn't that be Michael Moore guilty of tax fraud and at the hands of his ex-wife on top of it? Oh,
Oh, no.
Is that enough to
Heavens.
generate sympathy even for Michael Moore? Not really. Yeah.
They do have a child together, Natalie Moore, and she looks an awful lot like her parents.
Sorry to hear that for Natalie.
No, she's a cute kid.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to Natalie.
And good luck to her parents. It looks like an ugly divorce.
Speaking of hysterics, talking about Michael Moore, of course. No Justice, No Peace. Maxine is at it again.
What's
She
throwing up this time.
She gave a little talk to a local Young Democrats club out there on the left coast, and she's going to get her man. She promises.
I wake up in the middle of the night, and all I can think about is I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. I have never seen anything like this before in my life. And so to all of our elected officials, to Betty, to all of you progressives that are here, we've got some work to do. And it's not simply about resistance. It's about ensuring that we help people to understand that we deserve better. Yes. That this deplorable, despicable human being that occupies the White House should not be there. We should not be comfortable with it. We should not think about how somebody else is going to deal with. This is all of our fight. Yeah. And every day I say, I'm in this fight. Yeah. I'm in this fight and I'm not going to move. And as you know, there's a difference in how some of our leadership talk about how we should handle all of this. They say, Maxine, please don't say impeachment anymore. And when they say that, I say impeachment, impeachment, impeachment.
Yeah. You go, girl, and all that. I'm thinking of a tandem.
Yes.
Well, sort of.
Somebody on the ticket for 2020?
No, I'm thinking of more in the punditry. I mean, I don't really consider Maxine Waters an elected official. I consider more of a pundit. So how about like an old steel cage match from the WWF days, tag teams?
Oh, yeah.
Diamond and Silk.
DNS.
And that's right. And we'll have to pitch this to him next time they're on the show. Against No Justice, No Peace, Maxine, and Omarosa.
Oh.
What do you think?
Oh.
That's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, but you know what? Diamond and Silk, they're friends with Omarosa. They talk to her several times a week, remember?
Yeah, they can't like what she's doing these days.
Yeah, well, now she's come out with another tape. She says she has hundreds of these tapes. In fact, she claims she's secretly recorded every conversation she had with anybody in the White House. She was on your favorite show yesterday, Dan. She was on The View.
The Chew?
The View.
The Talk?
The View. And first, she wanted people to know that she robbed Hillary Clinton of the 2016 election. She feels bad that Hillary didn't win. It was because of her.
I discovered that Donald Trump was an arsonist trying to burn down this country. And at some way, I was complicit, handing him matches and giving him more fuel for his fires. True. At some point, you have to stop a toxic relationship. I was in a toxic relationship with Donald Trump, and I regret that I was so complicit. You know, Hillary Clinton was robbed. And I was part of co-conspirator in that robbery. And I will regret that for the rest of my life, that I was a co-conspirator along with the rest of these folks on this campaign who helped this con man get into office.
What do you mean she was
robbed?
So she,
wow.
and
that's a powerful admission.
Yes. The big tease is about who the leaker is. But first, on a very special The View with Omarosa, they played another tape from the White House. Uh-huh. So she said President Trump had the attention span of a fourth grader, blah, 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 and that he'd get so bored he would just run into different White House meetings. And one time he went into the communications department's meeting and just randomly started talking about Hillary. Here's the secret tape. See if this blows wind up your skirt.
I think Hillary's getting killed now with Russia. The real Russia story is Hillary and collusion. Somebody told me, Hope, you told me it was $9 million they spent on the phony report.
Yeah, someone just said she was far worse for the country than we thought. She didn't know her.
And yawn. I mean, that was the big tape. It was so stupid. It shouldn't even have it, or even have teased it.
You know, speaking of frauds, I mean, I hate to bring up uncomfortable aspects of Omarosa's otherwise storied public life.
Yeah.
You know, we've all grown up with her, loved her. She's an iconic figure in American culture, at least so she apparently believes. You know, Michael Clark Duncan's family.
Yeah, because she was married to him for a while. He's from Chicago. Remember, he worked for People's Gas, laying the pipeline.
Yeah, no, I remember him. Green
Mile.
Right, I remember him. He was
Sweet man.
Talented guy, which distinguishes him from Omarosa. No, not married.
Oh, his family's really?
Not engaged. They accuse Omarosa of faking the engagement. They accuse Omarosa of manipulating him in his final hours of life some 6 years ago, where he was sort of not of sound mind
Right.
in his final days. They also note that she did not come to them and talk to them about using his name in her book. They're not none too happy about that. According to TMZ, family suspicions about Omarosa intensified when Michael Clark Duncan was hospitalized following his heart attack. Telling TMZ, Omarosa was fixated on Michael Clark Duncan's money when he was on life support. Another thorn in his mom's side, Omarosa had already sold a bunch of his personal effects, watches, cars, his Green Mile director's chair, awards. Michael Clark Duncan's mom says Omarosa sold the stuff without the family's knowledge, and you can understand she's not happy about that.
He is a lovely man. I got to spend a day with him. He went to Simeon High School, so he spoke at his high school, and then he showed us where he would lay pipe for People's Gas and dig ditches, and he was a hard worker. Then he was a bouncer at bars in Chicago, and just a sweetheart. I was so happy to get a break.
Did he
in Hollywood?
Did he bring a mouse back to life in your presence?
He brought me back to life.
Did he?
The big news out of yesterday is that Omarosa claims that she knows who the leaker is. Coming from in the White House, yes, she thinks it's a person who has access daily to Mike Pence. She says this person is in Pence's office, and his name might be, well,
Chief of
we'll
Staff.
let her, yeah.
And I went through every email that came out of Pence's office because the tone of the op-ed sounded very much like his chief of staff. And sure enough, there's consistency in the writing style, the language they're chosen, as well as how they positioned their kind
How
of...
high up, though? Because it has to
high
be
up. You have to be a commissioned officer to be considered a senior staff member. That means assistant to the president, deputy assistant to the president, or special assistant. There's 100 of them in the White House.
Who do you think did it?
I've been very vocal, and I don't want to get sued, but I suspect that it might be his chief of staff.
And according to the New York Times, the chief of staff and everybody is Nick Ayers. So...
Well, that's not according to the New York Times. That's according to the org chart.
Right, it's a
Nick
fact.
Ayers is chief of staff, yeah.
Because Mike Pence, he came forward right away and said, I didn't do it, was willing to take a lie detector test to prove he's not the leaker.
I mean, the whole, guessing game and, criminal minds piecing the op-ed together and bumping it up against any utterance from every senior staff member of the White House. It's just so silly to me. There's been a lot of rumor mongering about somebody else on the National Security Council that could have been the op-ed writer. It'll eventually get fleshed out, and then when it does, we'll tackle it then. This sort of witch hunting to identify the person is silly.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. You hear me? It's coming from inside the house.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We live in exciting times. The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions designed to give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
When our health insurance renewal notice arrived last fall, my wife and I made the decision to drop our plan. With the monthly premiums and deductible, we'd have to pay $30,000 just to use it. So we did our homework and switched to Medi-Share. The cost savings are incredible, over $500 a month, and we don't have to pay for services we don't need or don't agree with. Then, out of the blue, she had to have emergency surgery. Scary stuff. $150,000 in hospital bills, and Medi-Share members took care of everything. All we paid was our small portion. I'm a doctor who's been in healthcare for 20 years, and this is one of the most impressive programs I've ever seen. Thank God she's fully recovered, and now we're telling everyone about Medi-Share.
Call 855-BIBLE-11 to find out how much you can save on your healthcare. Medi-Share. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't have to live in chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst. From an accident or pain that just develops, Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
A glass of wine on the patio at day's end. Laughter from your teens and their friends gathered around the crackling fire of your new fire pit. This is the private oasis that AM Woodland Outdoor Design can create for you. Your outdoor space should be a reflection of your family's personality and a true extension of your home, not just a place to set your grill and furniture. A well-designed and constructed outdoor space can add significant value to your home and bring endless days of enjoyment. Spend more time together as a family, entertain friends, or just have a personal sanctuary to relax and de-stress. The expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design will guide you through every step of the process. They provide quality service with the utmost integrity and reliability every time.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com. That's amwoodland.com or call 847-224-2167.
Your customers rely on hoists and cranes to do the heavy lifting at their companies. But when a hoist fails, your business can come to a halt. You need to be up and running with replacement parts or a new hoist fast. Call Cressel Power at 800-243-5432. ACO Material Handling Solutions has partnered with Cressel Power Equipment to create the fastest electric chain and wire rope hoist delivery in the business through the ACO Rapid Ship program at Cressel Power, keeping you stocked and running. Cressel also has the fastest delivery of genuine ACO replacement parts on the continent. They can deliver ACO lift chain and ACO right wire rope hoists as quick as same day. With Cressel Power, you don't have to stock any parts yourself. They stock thousands of different items and can get them to you the same day or overnight. Knowing the product line and offering technical support will put your mind at ease. Speak to a representative at Cressel Power. Call 800-243-5432. That's 800-243-5432.
AM 560, The Answer.
Breaking news, it's news to me at least. The Chew apparently has been canceled.
Are you sure it's not The Talk?
I don't know.
With Moonvez's wife?
Julie Chen.
Julie Chen.
That's The Talk?
That's The Talk. The Chew is the...
Who's on The Chew? Or who was on The Chew? I don't know.
There was some... there's people on it.
Yeah, I assumed.
But they're chefs, and it's, they do different recipes. The Chew's not a talk show; it's a cooking show where they.
No, it was like a gaggle of women too.
Well, yeah, but no, there were men on there. Yeah, Mike knows.
What do you call a group of women? Is it? I always think murder, like Murder of Crows. I don't know why I think that.
Wow, Mike, what do you know about The Chew?
The Chew is the cooking show. It's where the gentleman who owned the Italy restaurants,
Yeah.
Mario Batali.
Right, and
that's what
he
he
has
started.
other sexual accusations of sexual misconduct.
He
and
is.
He's off the show, so
He's off the show.
He's off the board of his restaurants. I mean, he's been
So he got kicked off
exiled.
of that
So
show.
Batali started it with 3 other guys, one of whom's on the Food Network with him and does a barbecue show. And
And there's
2 other
ladies
people.
on the show too.
One other.
Dr. Oz's daughter's on the show.
One other lady
my
is on the
gosh.
show.
I mean, seriously,
And
I need
she's
like
a-
an
this is
FBI
what
crime
happens when you're
family
forced
chart.
to watch daytime.
Wait, what's
stylist.
what's the other one? There's the Chew,
There's the Talk.
Yeah, but there's another
There's
one.
another one.
The Snitch?
You're
No, the
you're asking me? What do you think
The-
I do in the middle of the day?
Watch these
conversation?
shows.
The Conversation?
What's
There's
the
the 5.
Conversation?
What's the one on Fox News Channel?
That's the 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
don't look at
fairly
me like
news related,
that.
unlike the Talk.
What's with
Yeah, fairly.
That's
Faulkner?
what I said.
What's her name?
What's the
The sit
Harris
down?
Faulkner?
Yeah, what's that?
Well, that's on Fox in
Wait,
the morning.
that's called The Gathering?
The Gathering.
No,
That's a horror movie, I think.
It's what is it? Outnumbered.
Outnumbered.
Yes.
See,
that's
you
Harris.
do what? You know all this stuff.
It's on when I'm doing news at 11 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah,
plausible
likely
deniability.
story. There's another one with a
on.
bunch of
who?
I don't know. They all look like Cardi B. I don't know. Something.
Oh, that's on E.
No.
BET?
Come on. Is it The Real? What's that? Is
Justin
the
knows.
yeah,
The
of
Real?
course. Talk about another.
This our
Eat-
skateboard thrasher
yeah,
friend
eating bonbons during the
wearing
afternoon.
skinny jeans.
Is that what it is? The Real?
Sure. It's the Dan and Amy show.
Good grief. What a waste of time.
Don't
And not
even-
to mention, and the segment, by the way, has also been a week.
Adrian Houghton.
Yeah.
Do we know her? She's on The Real.
What
No.
network is the real?
Debbie Allen, George Lopez.
Oh,
George
Cedric
Lopez
the
isn't a
Entertainer.
woman.
Yeah, I know.
He is now.
He is apparently now.
Well, he is because he has his wife's kidney, and then he divorced her.
It might as well be.
I don't even see a
husband
network.
kidney, and then he divorces her.
Bounce Network, whatever that is.
No, there's something
Yeah,
else I'm
something
thinking
else.
of.
Yeah.
There's so much great TV. It's great talk TV. John and Palatine, please rescue us from this conversation.
Hi, Dan and Amy.
Hello.
I just want to mention regarding the anonymous letter writer or op-ed writer, I'm not putting a lot of stock into that, at least for now or maybe never, because if AM 560 has a lot of informed listeners, and if anyone recalls, maybe 5 to 7 months ago, there were whisperings of every one of those things or allegations in that op-ed.
No, they're more than whisperings.
I think it's like an
Yeah.
amalgam of or a compilation of all of those thoughts, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for the call, John. Absolutely. We talked about this. I mean, there's nothing new in that op-ed. There's not whisperings. There are actual events that have taken place where Trump has, reversed his position on something or chosen not to pursue a particular course of action in deference to the positions of advisors on various topics from NATO to trade. I mean, yeah, there's nothing new in that op-ed. The only thing that the D.C. press corps is grabbing onto, much like the murder of women on The View grabbed onto, is anybody who's saying save the country from Trump. That's the whole takeaway from the op-ed, and that's the only takeaway.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right. Since we're turning into The View or The Chew or The Real here, I guess we might as well pick up our Serena talk from yesterday. That's at 6:06.
And corporal punishment is back at one school. What parents think and how they feel about it. But first, into the newsroom we go. Let's paddle our way on into Mike Scott.
We're watching Florence for you this morning. Fox with the latest on the Category 4 hurricane as it bears down on North Carolina. And 5 jurors chosen in the Van Dyke trial. We'll have details on that for you. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Some are getting ready, some are getting out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's not a good feeling, but got to do what you got to do.
He's in North Carolina, which may be in Hurricane Florence's bullseye.
Preparations already underway. We've got some boards up. We have some sandbags in place, although we are going to need a lot more of this. And what was interesting on our drive on the way in, we saw a few more places boarded up.
Fox's Todd Pyro in Wilmington. There are evacuation orders for parts of that state, South Carolina and Virginia. The storm is on track to hit
late Thursday or Thursday night as a very dangerous major hurricane, either Category 3, 4, or even 5.
John Cangelosi at the National Hurricane Center. Florence currently a 4, packing 140-mile-an-hour wind. Hawaii will get hit by Tropical Storm Olivia tonight into tomorrow. Will there be a second meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un? North Korea's leader is asking for one in a letter to the White House 3 months after the summit in Singapore focused on the North giving up nuclear weapons. And there's an update on the Korean War remains the North handed over. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the U.S. military now knows the identity of 2 American soldiers from the Korean War. His remains were among the 55 boxes returned from North Korea recently. Officials in Hawaii say they'll notify family members before releasing their identities to the public. Identifying the remains is a painstaking process that involves dental records and analysis of tiny bone fragments. The U.S. military says nearly 7,700 U.S. troops remain unaccounted for from the Korean War. Dave.
Rachel, they just unfurled a huge American flag at the Pentagon, where 17 years ago today a hijacked plane crashed. Of course, there will be ceremonies there and at Ground Zero in New York.
We saw a shadow. It looked like a plane. Next thing we know, it was boom, boom, and the floor started shaking.
That was back on September 11th, 2001. There were moments of silence today for both planes and for when both Twin Towers collapsed that day, and for the Pentagon and for United Flight 93 when passengers fought back. President Trump will go to that memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Fair skies this early morning, but there is heavy fog out there in spots, 57 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Illinois' governor is asking residents of this state to lower their flags today. Governor Rauner yesterday asking for flags across the state to be flown at half-staff to commemorate 9/11. No one is in custody this morning after 3 teenagers were shot near the Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's South Side. A 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, and an 18-year-old were hit by gunfire. The 16 and 17-year-old remain in critical condition this morning. An investigation is underway after a woman was found dead in a garbage truck on Chicago's South Side. Streets and sanitation workers made the gruesome discovery yesterday near 95th and Normal. Jury selection is set to resume in a Chicago police officer's murder trial. 3 women and 2 men were the first jurors chosen for the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. Jury selection resumes later today and continues until 12 regular jurors and 4 alternates have been chosen. Former Illinois Governor Pat Quinn's proposed referendum placing term limits on Chicago mayors will not be on the November ballot. The Board of Elections hearing officer ruling the measure ineligible because the city council put 3 other referendums on the fall ballot. Now, those 3 issues, you may recall, were rushed to the ballot by aldermen to keep Quinn's proposal from going to voters. Quinn now vows a court fight. Police are searching for 2 women accused of luring men into their vehicle and then robbing them in the River North neighborhood. Authorities say the latest victim was offered a ride early yesterday morning in the 300 block of West Chicago Avenue. He got into the women's dark-colored sedan, and then they swiped his cell phone and several credit cards, and the man was tossed from the vehicle in the 600 block of North Wells. Monday Night Football, Jets jolt the Lions 48-17. Raiders crushed by the L.A. Rams 33-13. Brewers trimmed the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley. The Brewers now within a game of the Cubs in the NL Central, and the Royals beat the White Sox 4-3-10. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for victims of drunk and drug driving. Their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or mad.org, MADD.org. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how important energy production is to the United States.
Don't think now that it's an accident that America is the biggest producer of oil now in the entire world. But this has always been the key to American foreign policy success. Why do you think All these years, why have I always pushed energy independence?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Chicago! Right now at VisionWorks, all prescription eyewear, every frame, every brand is 50% off. Yup, a nifty 50% thanks to our Friends and Family event. What's even better? It applies to both glasses and sunglasses. That's right. At the VisionWorks Friends and Family event, you can save 50% on all prescription eyewear. Why? Because we like you, Chicago. A lot. VisionWorks. We're here to help you. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Dr. Bob Arnott for Salonpas.
I'm training for the world's most grueling paddleboard race. 32 miles of open ocean, high winds and surf. Naturally, I get a lot of muscle pain. 50 years in medicine has taught me what to look for in a pain reliever. Powerful, targeted, non-addictive, and available without a prescription. I found it in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. It has 2 powerful anesthetics that numb nerves right where it hurts. Salonpas gives me relief.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Homebuilders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation. And they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Homebuilders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On the inbound Kennedy Expressway, traffic's heavy now from Cumberland to Central. It's 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. About Eisenhower, some delays Manheim to Harlem, Demon to the Burn Circle. 42 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Mount Stevenson delays start around Harlem, looking at 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, about 34. Bryant Slope, Verge to 75th, and from the Stevenson to the Circle. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop 427. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, Jackson to Monroe. Northbound Tri-State tie from the Reagan all the way to the Eisenhower. Northbound I-65, heavy, 137th Avenue before 231. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist Madison Baggett.
Pleasant with plenty of sunshine today, high 77. Expect clear skies this evening, wind south 4 to 8 miles per hour, low 59. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, high 78. And then Thursday, mostly sunny, high 78. I'm Madison Baggett on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, fog, 57 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Serena Williams occasionally acts like a bully.
Oh, somebody said the B word.
Boy, if she says bossy,
Oh, no.
then it's all on. Then you got Sheryl Sandberg, you got Condi Rice to deal with. You can't call Serena Williams bossy, but Mary Carrillo called her a bully. Occasionally acts like a bully, she suggested, did Carrillo, that with a chance to tie Margaret Court's record of 24 Grand Slam singles titles, the pressure got to Williams, who should have understood the rules of tennis understood that the rules of tennis dictated her punishment. That's Mary Carrillo, longtime tennis analyst, talking about Serena Williams. Is Mary Carrillo a misogynist? Is she a racist? Is she both? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And why, oh why, won't the D.C. press corps ask the greatest women's tennis player of all time, per the singles titles, Grand Slam singles titles record, Margaret Court, what she thinks of Serena Williams? Why rush to Martina, rush to Mary Carrillo,
Well, they tweeted
rush to
about
Billie
it,
Jean
yeah.
King?
Yeah.
Oh,
Billie Jean King tweeted about it right away. Mary Carrillo was on MSNBC yesterday and also defended the chair umpire, who she says has an excellent reputation.
He calls him as he sees him. So I'm saying this guy is a very, very respected chair umpire, Stephanie. He has been doing it for decades. He has been doing big matches for decades. This is not Andy Griffith and Mayberry letting, Otis, the town drunk, let himself in and out of the prison cell. This is not who that guy is. Serena should have known that. She, look, at her very best, and she is often at her very best, I respect and admire Serena beyond measure. She is so powerful. She's an important voice. She's a ferocious competitor. But at her very worst, as she was on this night, she acts like a bully. And you make a career covering bullies. I mean, this is what you do for a living. You know what happens. You cannot talk to them. You cannot reason with them. And that, to me, is what happened.
No, they make a career of being bullies on MSNBC. Mary Carrillo got that wrong, but that statement she just made on MSNBC with a clear reference to Trump tells you where Mary Carrillo is coming from politically. So for those who want to play race and gender identity politics with Serena Williams' little temper tantrum, what say you now? Now, Mary Carrillo is not the only voice on the left, and Billie Jean King said that Ramos, who Mary Carrillo was just speaking about in terms of his professional record, was guilty of an abuse of power. Saying that Billie Jean King, saying that Ramos crossed the line, quote unquote, by having involved himself in the end result. King claims that Ramos chose to give Williams very little latitude in a match where the stakes were highest. Did Ramos treat Williams differently than male players have been treated? I think he did. Is that right?
That's not true. She was playing another woman.
Is that right? Different than male players would be treated with the same sort of meltdown, extended meltdown, with escalating levels of punishment associated with each instance of a rules violation? That only happened to Serena Williams because she's black or because she's a female, right? And, of course, Serena Williams cloaked herself in, the Susan B. Anthony persona, saying she's out there fighting for women's rights, for her 4-year-old daughter's future and all of this.
4-month-old, but yeah.
4-month-old
and that's
daughter.
the thing.
Excuse
She
me.
played the mommy card, and I hate when women play that.
Every time I play her, I have problems. What? Yeah, that's a warning. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. You need to make an announcement that I didn't get coaching. I don't cheat. I didn't get coaching. How can you say that? You owe me an apology. You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life.
Oh, here we go.
I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology. You will never do that.
Here's the thing. Yeah. There she is. That's the child she's trying to impress. So then later she smashes
that's
her
Serena
racket.
Williams.
Oh, yeah. She smashes her racket. That's a good example for your kid. But the point that Serena Williams needs to know is that we all have children, honey. You're not unique. Sorry. You're one of millions of people out there who have children. Okay? Yes, you're a new mom, but we all have them.
2 questions. How ironic is it that that meltdown occurred in a stadium named after Arthur Ashe? Do you think Arthur Ashe would approve of?
He would have been horrified.
Her behavior? Is that how Arthur Ashe played as a tennis player?
No, he had poison grace.
Comported himself. And then there's this, just to the whole male-female thing. And again, here, look, the best way to remedy this situation of how men are treated versus how women are treated. I go back again. I hate to beat this drum, but I've got the solution. It's elegant in its simplicity. Eliminate gender-specific sports.
Oh, yeah. She's so worried that it's a sexist umpire.
Just professional tennis. So then when Serena Williams plays Djokovic or Federer, we can see in real time how an umpire treats Serena Williams versus, say, Roger Federer, who has never even conveyed an emotion on the court, much less had a tantrum. But, okay.
He hasn't smashed a few rackets like Serena has?
Does anybody agree with me? This is the best way to do it, particularly in our enlightened post-gender times. Mm-hmm. Serena Williams, throw all the record books out. Let's start history anew, just as the left wants to do in so many other realms. Erase the record books. One sport. There's professional tennis. There's professional golf. There's professional basketball. There is no male and female designations. And that solves all of this, because then you see women and men competing against one another. Good luck, ladies. And being judged by the same rules according to their conduct in real time.
Just eliminate Title IX.
Isn't that beautiful? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Because otherwise, we have to, contemplate the imponderable. I mean, has a man ever been treated like Serena Williams? Golly, if only there were a historical example. Oh, yeah, John McEnroe's entire career. Here's John McEnroe being disqualified in 1990 at the Australian Open. 1, 2, 3, you're gone. You forfeit the match.
In 1990, John McEnroe, appearing for only his second time in Australia, took on the relatively unknown Swede Mikael Pernfors in the fourth round. But the volatile American, renowned for his on-court tantrums, received 3 code violations, one for intimidating a lineswoman.
Code violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, warning Mr. McEnroe.
One for smashing his racket.
Code violation, racket abuse, point penalty, Mr. McEnroe.
And the other for swearing at the umpire and the tournament referee.
Ken Farrar has overheard McEnroe swearing.
Code violation, verbal abuse, default, Mr. McEnroe.
Whoa!
Game, set, match, point.
That's the end of the match.
The former world number 1 thought he had one more violation before he would be ejected, and was leading 6-1, 4-6, 7-5, 2-4 at the time. But the code violation rules had just been reduced from 4 to 3 warnings, and McEnroe was defaulted.
And that's a great example.
Serena
had no chance of winning that match against Osaka.
If only Serena Williams was around to rally the defense of John McEnroe against the pro-Swedish Professional Men's Tennis Association. Totally in the tank for the Swedes. By the way, did you note the nature of his violations? Verbal abuse and smashing a racket.
That's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
And real quick, before we get your phone call, I just wanted you to hear this. When they were on the stage, Dan, after the match, listen to how people treated the champion. And she put her head down and then started crying. And she wasn't crying because she won the match. She cried because people were shaming her.
Good evening, everyone, and we welcome you to the trophy celebration of the United States Open.
And this went on and on and on. But Serena Williams did step in to help her.
Let's make this the best moment we can, and we'll get through it. But let's give everyone the credit where credit's due, and let's not boo anymore. We're gonna get through this, and let's be positive. So
are we gonna get through this?
Congratulations, Naomi.
Oh, I don't. Serena, are we? I don't think we are. Is there going to be a Christmas this year, Serena? Honestly.
And then did you see the
Look,
cartoon?
God.
From Mark Knight? Did you see this?
Yeah.
I think I sent it to you with
So what?
Serena smashing a racket. And
Yeah,
the
behaving
pacifier
like
out of
an
her-
infant. And of course, because she's a black woman, it's it's naturally sexist and racist. No, it's about her behavior in that moment.
Yes, it is. And then the chair umpire looking at Osaka saying, "Can you just let her win?" That part was
Yeah, the cartoon is, I mean, well within the bounds of political satire. I mean, such as the bounds are in the, according to the totalitarian left. Bruce in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Two quick things. This is a perfect example of the AEBW syndrome.
AEBW.
Angry, embittered black woman. And two, Dan, I'll go you one better. We need to go full Harrison Bergeron. Okay? We
Okay.
can all get handicapped, so we're absolutely equal. That way every match ends in a tie like Japanese baseball. That way nobody's feelings can get hurt.
All right, thanks for the call, Bruce.
or the Steelers-Browns game.
And this is, by the way, the like angry, but no, this is Serena Williams. I mean, her sister is much.
She's much more refined,
much more demure than her. Yeah, I mean, she's gotten into stuff too, but it happens. I get it. I mean, you see, look at your Little League game. You see adults get thrown out of games, or get coaching youth basketball, get technical fouls. They lose their mind. During a 6th and 7th grade game. It happens. It happens to people. So this is nothing. The whole point, either way, it has nothing to do with their race or gender. It has to do with their behavior. I don't know when we stopped caring about people's behavior and solely obsess about their identity, their non-behavioral characteristics like their race and gender. That is ignorance. That is anti-intellectual. And the people that are rallying to the defense of Serena Williams have nothing to offer but identity politics. And this is a great example of how vacuous that ideology is. David in McCook.
Hey, good morning, guys. I got an idea. She's bigger than Brian Urlacher. She'd probably try out for the Bears and get a spot. But I wanted to say also with that, the umpire for that match was Latino. Is that correct?
Yeah, Latino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramos.
Yeah.
Ramos.
If he was white, would she have brought the R word into play?
The R word? No, she
racist.
said.
Thanks for the call, David.
No, she
made
said
it-
it's more sexist. She didn't say it was racist. She said this is sexist. That he treats men and women differently.
Yeah.
The bottom line is she was out of her mind. Get a hold of yourself, woman. I wanted to grab her like, stop it and take off your tutu.
But, here's the thing about this, though. This is a great example, and the Colin Kaepernick thing is a good example of this, too. Leftism is a prefix menu. So when you're if you're going to that place, then you get the prefix menu. There's no choice. This is what you shall choose from, and this is the price to be paid. Let me give you another example. So identity politics, the Serena Williams stuff. Remember how she walked back her initial comment, the controversy over John McEnroe saying Serena Williams would be like would get killed on the men's tour.
Yeah, because she was ranked number 1. He said she'd be ranked 437.
Yeah, or
maybe,
something.
Which was a true fact.
And he took a lot of heat for that. And then she
supported him.
Well, yeah, and then she didn't. But then she had previously said a couple of years earlier, I don't remember the exact timeline, but like if she had, I think it was Federer, right? Was it if she had to play Federer, he would kill her? She said that.
Yeah.
I think it was Federer.
He would.
But the whole point is, once you sign on to the identity politics, once you sign on to the associated victimology, then there's you're boxed in. Leftism is a prefix menu. Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick donated $25,000 to the Center for Reproductive Rights. This is a pro-abort group. Colin Kaepernick, wait a second. Colin Kaepernick is protesting police brutality. He's protesting, I don't know, something of this or that. He's like a Rorschach inkblot for Black Lives Matter and for the left. He's whatever you say he is that, you want to project onto him. But you don't understand. It's about this. It's about that. Well, once you're in, and the money starts flowing, then you're fully in. The Center for Reproductive Rights.
And he was adopted to a white family in Wisconsin.
I mean, let me just give you an example of how radical this is, and how once you start wearing the Che Guevara T-shirts, once you start cheering Castro,
and also
it's the whole gamut.
But don't forget the socks that he was wearing. He was wearing socks there were pigs with police hats on.
Yeah,
people forget about those socks, and he wore them to an NFL game. I mean, come on.
That's part of the deep
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, the deep protest, and right, and pigs in a blanket frying like bacon. Isn't that the Black Lives Matter chant? But
okay, somebody wrote an article. Colin Kaepernick was adopted. How in the hell can he support abortion?
Part of it, though, that is you're in for the whole thing. Every issue, whether you want to be or not, you're in. So, hey, write a check, $25,000 to this radical pro-abort group. And here's the commercial they did to commemorate this group that he donated $25,000 to.
Okay.
To commemorate the 40th anniversary of Roe v. Wade some 5 years ago.
Oh, hey, baby. Did you think I forgot? I didn't forget. How could I ever forget our anniversary? All these years, so many people said we'd never make it. They've been trying to tear us apart, take you away, put limits on you, on me, on us. But every time we've proven ourselves stronger. An anniversary like this is not something that you forget. No, baby. It is something that you fight for. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do, baby. Because that is how much you mean to me, baby. To us. To all of us. So with that,
this is a Colt 45.
Happy anniversary, baby.
Yeah.
Looking good for 40.
That's disgusting.
Sexualizing and romanticizing abortion, baby this. Yeah. There you go.
There's this person who wrote the article. He's African American. That Colin Kaepernick was adopted. How could he support abortion? Has Colin Kaepernick's face, the Nike ad saying Planned Parenthood kills 247 black lives every day, who will never be able to actually sacrifice everything.
Zing. Fred in Effingham, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hey, down here in Effingham, we've had a pretty healthy tennis culture, and a lot of it can be tied to one family that's coached kids at the Park District level, and the sons of this couple have both coached both high school teams here at different times. And the matriarch of this family used to tell the kids, a person's true character comes out on the court. And I've remembered that ever since she told my kids that. And I think I apply that to sports across, the spectrum, that a person's under pressure, under the stress of competition, we get to see their true character.
Yeah, that's thanks for the call, Fred. I think that's a good point. And look, I'm not saying that, I don't know Serena Williams, I'm not saying that meltdown was her true character. It happens. You've had great athletes have bad moments. Okay, fine. If she would have left it there, if people would have left it there, then I would leave it there. When you want to politicize it and make it about some, struggle against oppression in the 21st century, then you force us to engage on it and offer the appropriate ridicule for that silliness.
I told you, my friend had to work with her on a commercial for 2 days and said it was hell, that she was an absolute diva. She was insufferable. She was mean to everybody. She thought she was above everyone and not a friendly bone in her body.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
The players are fired up. The coaches are prepared for battle. The student section is rumbling. The band is ready to rock. And you're ready for victory.
Touchdown, Northern Illinois!
Every game, every victory is right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies against the Central Michigan Chippewas. This Saturday afternoon at 2:30 in IU football is on AM 560, The Answer.
Your
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855 1 Hour.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, let's get it over with already. Ronald Kessler, New York Times bestselling author, including of a book on the Trump White House, is going to come on the show at 6:36. Tell us who the author of that New York Times op-ed is, and we'll be done with it.
So don't miss it. And also a homecoming Queen's double victory. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. All eyes on Florence, but it's not the only disturbance in the Atlantic. We're watching a couple of more hurricanes forming as well, but Florence is the closest to the U.S. coastline. Mandatory evacuations begin today in parts of Virginia, North and South Carolina as Florence heads for the East Coast.
It's too soon to know the exact track Florence will take, but all of the models agree that Virginia can expect significant impact.
But likely Virginia will not get the full front of Florence. That's heading right now for the border between North and South Carolina and then moving up the coast. 17 years ago today, terrorists hijacked 4 U.S. jetliners, crashing them, killing nearly 3,000 and jarring an entire nation. 2 aircraft struck each of the World Trade Center's Twin Towers in New York City. Protesters are calling for justice after a Texas police officer shot and killed an unarmed black man. At least 100 protesters marched through downtown Dallas yesterday, demanding what they call justice in the death of 26-year-old Botham Jean. No one in custody after 3 teens were shot near Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's South Side. The teens were walking near 91st and Langley. 2, the 16 and 17-year-old, remain hospitalized in critical condition. 2 Maywood police officers are recovering from their injuries after a shootout outside of a local fast food restaurant Sunday night. Illinois State Police continue their investigation. And you turn to Dan and Amy for all things politics, so let's update you on the very latest this morning. Ex-boxer Oscar De La Hoya says he's considering a run for the White House, telling a couple of outlets he's putting together a team to explore options. And you know that certain candidates or candidacies or coverage of those candidates can get a bit silly. It's happening in New York State right now with actress and candidate for New York Governor Cynthia Nixon, who's taking apparently some large heat for a strange bagel order. Video posted online of her ordering a cinnamon bagel with lox, capers, onions, and cream cheese on the Upper West Side of New York.
That's my go-to brunch breakfast, whether I'm out or at home. I mean, it's not uncooked oatmeal, but it's pretty delicious. And I say, don't yuck my yum. Don't knock it till you tried it.
People on social media and bagel makers are all horrified with her selection, calling her or accusing her of having a lack of taste buds and urging her never, ever to order that blend of bagel and lox and capers again. NFL Monday Night Football. Jets jolt the Lions 48-17 in Detroit. Raiders crushed by the L.A. Rams 33-13. Brewers trimmed the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley. Brewers are within a game of the first-place Cubs. And the Royals beat the White Sox 4-3-10. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ballgame.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
It is 6:37, and let's get an update on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
In Lansing, Torrance Avenue is closed right now. Ridge Road, 186. Truck into a building reported, 184th and Torrance. Hayden's Expressway inbound traffic stop and go, Gulf Road Junction. 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Inbound to Kennedy, delays start at Cumberland. 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. From Eisenhower jammed, Wolf to Harlem, Damon to the Circle. 46 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 33. Inbound Stevenson, delays start at 53. 50 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 37. Bryan, 23 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, 90 to the Merge, Bishop Ford 35, southbound 53 time, the Adams Tollway to Higgins. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Patchy morning fog, otherwise sunny and 77. Currently 57. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. All right, we're going to get done with this and the controversy.
Turn up your radios.
Stop with the guesswork and the witch hunting and the speculation. Let's just find out who that op-ed writer is and what the reckoning should be. If anybody's going to know, it's Ronald Kessler. He's New York Times bestselling author of books on the Secret Service and the FBI and the CIA. And his latest, the Trump White House changing the rules of the game, where he had exclusive access to President Trump. the kind of access that Bob Woodward only wishes he had. Ron Kessler, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be with you.
All right, tell us who it is.
You know, I actually fingered Mark Felt, the FBI official, as Woodward's deep throat source years before it came out. So I do have a good track record on this, and that was based on real information. I was going to interview Felt for one of my FBI books, and his daughter said, this guy Woodward was out here a year ago, and he came in a white limousine, and he had the limousine park 12 blocks away, and then he walked to our house. Well, that immediately told me, of course, this had to be Deep Throat. There was no way he would do that to conceal his source unless it was Deep Throat. But as for the anonymous New York Times op-ed, what I do say is that clearly this person is dishonest. Not because, I mean, obviously because of the fact that he did it, but secondly, in the op-ed, he says that that Trump constantly resisted imposing sanctions on Russia, or at least once or twice resisted. Well, then he never mentions that Trump did, in fact, not only impose sanctions, but took about half a dozen actions against Russia, such as sending missiles into Syria. It's a lie. Giving lethal defensive weapons to the Ukraine, increasing the oil output of the U.S., which reduces Russian profits, and that's a major part of their economy. Imposing sanctions on even Putin's oligarch friends, on and on and on. Doesn't mention any of that. So that tells you immediately this person is just a crank. And of course, every organization has people like that, disgruntled people who think they know more than their boss. And I think that's the end of that. As for the Woodward book, I sat next to Woodward and Bernstein during Watergate at the Washington Post. I thought they did an outstanding job. They only had one story that was incorrect. And typically, people who are quoted in his books claim that the quote was not true, and then years later they come forward, such as Colin Powell, and admit that, yes, they were behind these quotes. So I think a lot of the quotes may turn out to be true. A lot of them have previously appeared in the Washington Post or the New York Times. On the other hand, Woodward does not provide balance or context, and so his books give a misleading, sort of clownish impression of the subject, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, including Obama. And one example is that he presents the fact that Trump tweeted his decision to ban transgenders from the military. And the impression is that he just came out with this on his own, didn't consult with anybody. If there was any consultation, Woodward downplayed it. Well, in my book, The Trump White House, I do go into this, and it's quite the opposite. Actually, this initiative had been reviewed by the Principals Committee of the National Security Council, which includes Mattis and other cabinet officials beforehand, and they came up with these 4 different options. And in addition, Reince Priebus had discussed them with Trump beforehand. So the only thing that was different was that Trump tweeted his decision without telling Priebus. Well, so big deal. You know, of course we know that Trump is unorthodox, but in fact this had been very thoroughly reviewed beforehand. So that's an example of a misleading anecdote.
Yeah, and there's some passages in the book where he talks about situation, times, and meeting places, but doesn't name the source. And do you think that that's irresponsible?
No, you know, this is the way journalism works. Unfortunately, you know, people are not going to tell the truth, especially when it comes to the president, if they're going to be quoted on the record. The question is, you know, what is the integrity of the writer? You know, Woodward certainly was right about Deep Throat and Watergate, but the way he puts it all together is misleading and unfair, and I haven't seen a word of an allusion to the positive achievements of the Trump administration so far. For example, the former executive editor of the New York Times did a review of the book. There was not one. That was Jill Abramson. There was not one sentence that referred to the achievements of the Trump administration.
Well, that's because
incredible.
But the book is all about him being unfit for office. I mean, that's really the point of it. Just personally, how he comports himself, his intellectual capacity. I mean, that's the narrative the D.C. press corps wants to tell. It seems like that's the takeaway that Bob Woodward wants people to have from his book when he's warning about people need to understand what's going on in the White House. That's what he's intimating, isn't he?
And also scary.
Yeah, and that was something that Steve Bannon has been promoting, and totally false. All you have to do is look at your TV when Trump is holding a press conference or holding a cabinet meeting. He's totally on top of the subject. He's not detached, as Woodward says, detached from reality. No, just the opposite. He's very much in command. We know he issues these unsettling tweets, but all you have to do is believe your own eyes when you see him on TV.
Well, since you had exclusive and extended access to him for the book that you penned, The Trump White House: Changing the Rules of the Game, is the book. Anything during your time with him or in speaking with other sources for your book that concerned you, that rose to the levels we're discussing now of someone who is unfit for office?
No, just the opposite. He is totally, especially behind the scenes when he's not on TV. When I interviewed him at Mar-a-Lago, for example, he was his normal self, which is actually very measured, and he can be very deliberative when it comes to important decisions. And in my book, I go into how he made the decision to increase troop levels in Afghanistan. And that was a long process. He consulted not only his own advisors, but Army people who had been there, his own billionaire friends. He will even ask Secret Service agents or chambermaids for their opinion on some subjects. He actually is very deliberative, and I quote Reince Priebus as saying that in the book. And, of course, the important thing is not all this back and forth about who said what and, nasty comments that he does make sometimes about people and that other people make about him, but rather the results. And look at it. The economy is just bursting at the seams, and it's directly because of his actions, deregulating, cheering on business as opposed to Obama, who would demonize business, as well as getting rid of ISIS overseas. It's just endless.
All right, back to the leaker. Do you think it's possible? I mean, are any of your sources saying that it could have come out of Mike Pence's office?
No, and I know from experience that nobody ever guesses the source correctly. Nobody. I did know about Deep Throat because of actual information, but if you just go around guessing, you'll never find out. People typically will focus on someone who may have been critical or stand out in some way, and often it's not that person because that person doesn't want to take a chance on being the culprit. But it's important to note that the op-ed was identified as coming from someone in the Trump administration, which means the whole cabinet. It could be Undersecretary of Agriculture or Undersecretary of State. My guess is it will be State because there was a lot of focus on foreign affairs, and the attacks seemed to be in line with the State Department attitude.
You know, you know what my guess is, Ron, and just
Yes.
to, I mean, I don't mean to brag on myself, but just to demonstrate how much of a three-dimensional thinker I am. I believe I'm the only one who has suggested this. It's a misdirection play, as you're sort of suggesting.
Oh.
It's Barron. Barron Trump penned that op-ed.
Excellent.
And it's a way to set up.
It was a
set up
eighth-grade
this
essay he had to do.
Exactly. What I did on my summer vacation.
Yeah.
The way to set this up for his dad to properly utilize. I mean, it's genius.
And by the way, Barron is quite a guy. In my book, I describe what he's like. He treats his Secret Service agents with respect, unlike Jenna and Barbara Bush, who would try to lose them.
Well, they just wanted to go drinking, okay?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
They got
Party
their
girls.
drink
I
on.
understand
Yeah.
Wow, and then what else about Barron? Tell us about him. What does he do for fun?
He's like a mini Trump. He's like a grand maitre d' at Mar-a-Lago. He runs around talking to the guests. You know, have a great day, enjoy your breakfast, and
penning op-eds. Yeah.
And he's very very concerned about the Secret Service and makes sure that they know where he's going and when he's going. So he's a real mensch.
All right. Wow. Yeah, well, mensch, boy. I hope I can grow up to be 11-year-old Barron someday. Ron Kessler, New York Times bestselling author of a number of books on the Secret Service, the FBI, the CIA, the latest, the Trump White House, changing the rules of the game. Ron, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
Thanks. Barron sounds like Peyton and Eli, just a little different. And Ron Kessler joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. CBS could be a takeover target now. The Trump administration signals a possible trade breakthrough with the European Union. Those stories and more next.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has two main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Executives at CBS considering next steps today. Shares dropping sharply Monday, the first business day after the company's chairman Les Moonves was shown the door, and now speculation that CBS could become a takeover target. Economic reports ahead today include the Commerce Department's wholesale trade inventories for July. We'll also have an update on job openings and turnover from the Labor Department. U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer is signaling a possible breakthrough in U.S. trade talks with the European Union, suggesting, quote, an early harvest in the area of technical barriers to trade. An EU spokesman says a new deal could be finalized by November. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, Dan, quick before I get to my live read, guess what viewership was down for the Miss America pageant? Guess
23%.
Yeah, 23%. Why? Because the swimsuit portion was cut out.
You know why I think it is, actually?
Why?
Interview portion too short. So I said,
really?
go to the hour-long interview format. That's what people want. They want to hear from those Miss America contestants.
Yeah, and Miss New York, who won the contest, she said she's glad the swimsuit portion was cut out because she was able to eat. Okay. All right, with the recent rainy weather, Permaseal is working hard to help homeowners
Hey, Delta Burke.
across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, but they need your help. They are hiring right now in all departments: sales, customer service, installation. I'm going to apply. I want to learn how to do that. They're looking for people with great work ethic who have ambition, positive attitude, and want to learn new skills and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Justin, doesn't that sound like me? Their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth opportunities, and a great fun work environment. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers. And if you're looking for a career change or maybe more importantly, a dry basement, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
Napa know-how.
Right now, Mobil 1 Full Synthetic Motor Oil is $29.99 for a 5-quart jug. Its advanced formula provides maximum sludge protection, defending your engine like a catcher defends home plate. So, get top-notch engine protection with the Mobil 1 Full Synthetic 5-quart jug for $29.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 9/30/18.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Cutting taxes, appointing conservative justices, and strengthening our military. Donald Trump is working to make America great again, but he can't do it alone. President Trump needs allies in the Senate. Joe Donnelly voted against our tax cuts, and he votes against Trump's policies almost 60% of the time. President Trump needs Mike Braun.
This election is about safety, and this election is about jobs. Democrats want to open borders. Democrats want to raise your taxes. We need Republicans in Congress. We want people like Mike Braun. He's a special man, and he is going to be a truly great senator.
Vote for Mike Braun for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Producing quality agitprop is a team effort, so it's nice to see the Democrat Socialists rally for the Obamas to help them consummate their $50 million Netflix production deal. The lineup really assembles itself. Cory Booker will star in a remake of Spartacus, only this time Spartacus is the wealthy senator, and he only thinks he's a slave. He runs around Capitol Hill yelling, "I am Spartacus," with no one else echoing the sentiment. Kamala Harris will play the lead in the spin-off How to Get Away with Murdering the Legal Canons. The ripped from the headline season premiere will feature a bizarre temper tantrum masquerading as an interrogation of a SCOTUS nominee. Rahm Emanuel is scheduled to reprise the role of Abby Lee Miller from the Lifetime hit Dance Moms. The Emanuel version will be entitled Tiny Dancer Moms. Chris and Andrew Cuomo will play conjoined twins in the long-awaited sequel to Stuck on You. Other shows under consideration: Brian Williams as a bomb tech in a remake of The Hurt Locker, Rachel Maddow as Katie Lang in the biopic Crying, and Elizabeth Warren as Henry Fonda playing Tom Joad in a stirring interpretation of John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. It's a lineup that's binge and purge worthy.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Florence may stick around for a while. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The hurricane's expected to hit the Carolina coast into Virginia Thursday into Friday, and this could make things worse.
A slowdown in forward motion as landfall nears, which will prolong heavy rain and flooding potential.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean there. People are getting ready, some evacuating. Fox's Evan Brown's live in Wilmington.
Chris, outside a Target store, which last night had shelves cleared of water, milk, and bread. They were supposed to be restocked overnight, ready to open just now. Other big grocery and retail stores around here have had the same issues, selling out of pallets of bottled water by the dozen in less than an hour. Local officials are urging people to either finish preparations or evacuate by tonight. A shelter is opening here at one of the local middle schools, but leaders are urging people to use it only as a last resort. Chris?
Evan, thanks. And tonight, Hawaii will get hit by Tropical Storm Olivia. It's September 11th, 17 years after the terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live near Ground Zero in New York.
In contrast to the beautiful September morning in 2001, today in Lower Manhattan, it's kind of gray. It's foggy. The families, first responders, and the survivors are gathering for the ceremony that takes place between the two memorial pools that are the footprints of where the Twin Towers still stood at this time 17 years ago. Later this hour, they'll ring the first of 6 bells that will toll, and they'll begin reading the names of the almost 3,000 people who lost their lives. Chris?
Tanya J. Powers, thanks. The U.S. military has now identified the first 2 American soldiers in the 55 boxes of remains that North Korea handed over. They date back to the Korean War as part of an agreement between President Trump and the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in their meeting. The move next is to notify the families. Ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street, the Dow is down 107 points. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunrise in Chicago, a bit of heavy fog crossing the area. 57 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. No one in custody after 3 teenagers were shot near Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's South Side. Teens were walking yesterday, according to police, near 91st and Langley when someone in a vehicle jumped out and opened fire. Now, the 16 and 17-year-old are hospitalized in critical condition, while an 18-year-old is in serious condition. Investigators believe at least one of those teens is a student at the high school. Jury selection continues in a Chicago police officer's murder trial. 3 women and 2 men were the first jurors chosen for the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. DuPage County Court Judge George Bacalus denied a motion from the Daily Herald on behalf of all news media to allow 1 still photographer and 1 videographer in the trial of 4 individuals for what authorities describe as a brutal and heinous killing in West Chicago. The 4 are accused of strangling their 18-year-old victim, Luis Guerrero, with a belt, stabbing him 16 times, lighting him on fire, and then running him over with a Jeep, then leaving him to die in a fire pit in a West Chicago field. The arraignment of all 4 suspects will be held September 17. One of the third-party candidates running for Illinois governor wants the state to stop paying for abortions. State Senator Sam McCann yesterday filed a plan to reverse the state's new law that has taxpayers covering the cost of abortions in the state. McCann said the law, which was HB 40, is immoral, reckless, and financially irresponsible. Chicago sports, Monday Night Football. Jets jolt the Lions 48-17. Rams crushed the Raiders 33-13. To baseball, where the Brewers edged the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley. Brewers have climbed within a game of the Cubs in the NL Central. Royals trimmed the White Sox in 10 4-3. The news, a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but You can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 7:04, it's time on AM 560 for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-694-2640 now. That's 800-694-2640 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-694-2640 to learn more. 800-694-2640. That's 800-694-2640. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hey, Chicago! Right now at VisionWorks, all prescription eyewear, every frame, every brand is 50% off. Yup, a nifty 50% thanks to our friends and family event. What's even better? It applies to both glasses and sunglasses. That's right. At the VisionWorks Friends and Family event, you can save 50% on all prescription eyewear. Why? Because we like you, Chicago. A lot. VisionWorks, we're here to help you. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Doctor, award-winning chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user, Dr. Bob Arnott.
For pain relief, the best solution may surprise you. I found that Salonpas Lidocaine Plus works best for my pain. It's powerful, available without a prescription, and uses 2 anesthetics to numb nerves right where it hurts. It starts to work on contact, providing effective, lasting pain relief I can count on.
Salonpas, in the silver box with the blue wave.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't start for myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove, and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
For just $5 a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. It's pocket change to you. It's life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio.
It is 7:08. A check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eden's traffic is heavy. Old Orchard to Montrose, 34 minutes. Lycook Junction, outbound 24. Kennedy, 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 19 on the Express, outbound 34 to the airport. But Eisenhower jammed. Wolf Circle, 50 minutes. 390 to downtown, outbound 38. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 45 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 37 minutes to 355. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy, 115th to Hinsdale Oasis from Reagan, so at Lawrence. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays from Fountain to Roosevelt. Northbound I-65, 153rd Avenue to 231. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Madison Baggett.
Mostly sunny and pleasant again today, high 77.
Expect clear skies this evening, winds south to southwest 4 to 8 miles per hour, low 59. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, high 78. I'm Madison Baggett on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine 58. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley. Targeted legal advice for your business. KelleherandBuckley.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So many fun moments from Obama's State of the Union Redux address at U of I on Friday.
Which he repeated the next day in California, and he's just going to repeat for the next, 58 days until the midterms?
Well, I mean, he's been repeating it for 8 years. You just, 10 years, you just now introduced Trump into the formula. And rinse and repeat, it seems to work. Barack Obama on a free press.
It shouldn't be Democratic or Republican to say that we don't threaten the freedom of the press because they say things or publish stories we don't like. I complain plenty about Fox News. But you never heard me threaten to shut them down or call them enemies of the people.
Right. We never heard you.
But yet you attacked certain members on Fox News by having them investigated by,
James Rosen.
James Rosen, right.
Yeah, so if the Trump administration would have been discovered to do anything approximating what the Obama administration did to James Rosen, I mean, you want to talk about hue and cry. He tweets and the D.C. press corps goes into full meltdown. Let's just recall, since I know the D.C. press corps doesn't have any institutional knowledge and has plenty of willful blindness, investigators looking into disclosures of sensitive information about North Korea got James Rosen's telephone records and a warrant for his personal emails, but also used his State Department security badge to track his movements in and out of that building, according to an Amazon Post report. This began in 2009 when Rosen reported U.S. intelligence believed North Korea might respond to tighter UN sanctions with new nuclear tests. And so Rosen was treated as like an unindicted co-conspirator by Eric Holder's Justice Department. That's President Obama's Justice Department.
Wow.
So which is more chilling for you, fourth estate absolutists, of which I'm basically one? Is it the actual conduct of the Obama administration, or is it the tweeting of the Trump administration, the principle?
I mean, Eric Holder signed off on the search warrant and labeled him as a flight risk.
This is, well, right, yes. Look, this may serve, I mean, again, Democrat overreach may be the best thing Republicans have going for them. They're really feeling their oats, and you saw President Obama preening on Friday and then on the campaign trail subsequently. Chuck Todd was doing the same thing with Charlie Cook talking about the midterms. And the argument that Chuck Todd makes, this is fascinating, that, the Republicans on the Senate side, forget the House is already gone. The House is for sure in the Democrats' camp. The blue wave is coming. That's Charlie Cook's prediction effectively as well. But the Senate is really in play because Chuck Todd really wants it to be. And according to Chuck Todd, the Republicans have a subpar field of candidates because nobody wanted to run with Trump.
You look at the Republican recruiting and you look at the Democratic recruiting. It seems as if in almost every race, the Republicans got their second or third choice, and in almost every race, Democrats got their first choice.
Yeah, maybe.
Even Charlie Cook won't take that bait.
I mean, they always feel like they could have done better in West Virginia. They feel like they could have done better in North Dakota. They feel like they could have done better in Tennessee.
But I think that it reflected a nervousness about President Trump.
Yeah. So then Charlie Cook tries to find a way to agree with little Chuck Todd. I mean, I really don't understand Chuck Todd's career. It's like he's sort of like the Carson Daly of politics. There's no talent. There's no particular record of accomplishment, but somehow he's supposed to be the ringmaster driving political discourse inside the Beltway. It's bizarre to
Well,
me.
if you look at his career, I mean, he never moved around the country to further up in the network. He worked for some cable news and then immediately jumped to NBC. And then Tim Russert died. David Gregory took over. David Gregory didn't work out, and then he filled in.
Yeah, but forget all that.
Well, he
what are his political bona fides? Interning for Tom Harkin?
Yeah, that's it.
For more on these topics and more, we're pleased to be joined by Tim Carney, who does have political bona fides. He's a senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Tim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, subpar Republican Senate candidates. I don't know. Mike Braun beat two incumbent Republican congressmen in Indiana. He seems to be, it's never easy to take out an incumbent, but he's poised for a victory. Josh Hawley is in Missouri. Rosendale in Montana is a statewide elected official. Kramer, North Dakota, is the North Dakota's one congressperson.
Yeah.
I mean, on and on.
No,
Do we have a subpar field of candidates?
I don't think so. I would like to see Chuck Todd show his work there. I think generally I probably have a higher opinion of Chuck Todd than you do, but that was a claim that he didn't give information for, and that Charlie Cook reaction was perfect. I mean, those examples you gave are right up there as far as saying, this was sort of a normal year to get prominent congressmen, to get other statewide elected officials like in Missouri, et cetera, out there running is a pretty normal field. You look at the Democrats' good years of 2012, 2006, 2008, and that's a lot of what they did. You put up Congressman Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin. You put up the Secretary of State in the Midwest. Like that's a good recruiting year. So I think sometimes I used to work for Bob Novak, you guys in Chicago.
Sure, Prince of
One
Darkness.
of the things that we made sure to do when we were analyzing the races, it was my job. We wrote the Evans-Novak political report. We never let some sense of a national mood cloud our race-by-race analysis. And I wonder if that's the idea, this feeling that we have here in the Beltway, things aren't going well for Republicans, then just sort of, instead of looking at the facts, some people are saying, I guess nobody wants to run with Trump.
What do you think?
Rather than looking at the race by race, as you just quickly did right there.
Well, with the midterms, 57 days away from now, former President Trump out on the campaign trail. He's breaking with tradition. Normally, we don't hear from former presidents. How do you feel about him out there and trying to get out the vote, so to speak?
Well, you can see what we think about former President Obama on the campaign trail. Look at our editorial in the Washington Examiner today, just saying, spare us, please, as you guys were talking about. This idea, he was right. He said Trump is not the problem, he's the symptom. Okay, one of the problems was his immediate predecessor. One of the things that I know so many people who would have been never Trumpers up until Election Day, but they looked at Barack Obama's assaults on religious liberty, and people. You work I ran into priests who just said, "Look, I think my ability to do my job is imperiled if the war that Barack Obama began continues." There are people who had guns and said, the White House was so willing to legislate from the executive, even beyond the bounds of the Constitution, that what would the next White House do as far as taking away guns by executive order? Those policies, together with those attacks on the media you talked about, really made a feeling these guys are not just against us on policy, they're actually against us. They're trying to use policy as a weapon. That was divisive. That made it so that people in the Republican primary said, we need somebody who's going to smash things as a nominee. So yes, Trump is a symptom, and one of the viruses that caused it was the 8 years of Barack Obama.
And we're going fast forward to this administration, and on the policy side, what's going on in the Hill, the effort to stave off government shutdown theater. Some suggestion by President Trump amid reports that the number of illegal border crossings spiked in August, that he could use the military to build a wall if Congress won't fund it through Department of Homeland Security. Is that just sort of saber rattling by Trump to keep it front and center that he intends to keep his promise about the border wall and border security? Or is this a real coming to a head that is in the offing?
So analyzing Trump at this point is tricky because he likes to sort of play the hardball negotiator, and that does sound like that sort of tactic. On the other hand, some of the things that I thought were just hardball negotiation, he's gone through with Jerusalem, moving the U.S. embassy in Israel into Jerusalem was the sort of thing every president talked about. And then Trump actually did it. And you thought that was just a chit to play with regard to, other Arab countries out there, but he actually followed through on it. So here I think there are potential legal and constitutional issues. You can't use the military as a border guard. Using the military to build a wall in the U.S.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Army Corps of Engineers is part of the Army. It's got a specific task to do that. It does weird things like dig canals and the swamps in Florida. Who knows what else it's doing? But, sometimes with Trump, I wait about a week after he says something to try to figure out whether to take him seriously and literally or neither.
Are you guys paying much attention still to who wrote the op-ed?
It's still a fun game. If you get about 5, 6 different reporters in the same room or at the same bar, that's sort of what people are talking about. There's a confidence that it will come out. One of the big questions, though, is whether it was proper for the New York Times to run it. So I run the opinion page at the Washington Examiner, and somebody tried to write us something under a pseudonym because their boss didn't want, because he thought that his boss wouldn't like it. And I said, you know what? No, that's not a good enough reason. If you were a dissident in Iran, I'd let you write under a pseudonym. Here, I don't think I would have granted anonymity to that writer had they come to me. And so that the New York Times did, you wonder whether they would have done the same. I mean, I knew lots of dissident types in the Obama administration. If they had come to the New York Times with an op-ed and said, by the way, here's why I think Obama's breaking the law and wanted it anonymous, I don't think the Times would have granted the anonymity.
Yeah, that's a good point. He is Tim Carney, senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Tim, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Annie.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000
right now, because this free ticket offer expires this Friday.
Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Imagine your son after a year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive and committed to making good choices and doing the right thing because they are right and because he's strong enough? Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself. What makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois? I can only imagine they're a couple of slots behind Bennett. Their academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventures of boyhood. Hall Fest, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make it a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent school for boys in grades 6 through 12. They produce men with the ability to think for themselves. Graduates go to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model. 50% of the faculty attended a top 20 university. Don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. Learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. Amy, that's northridgeprep.org. SaveYourHome.org.
The following is a paid political announcement.
They raised my taxes in the middle of the recession, and my house was not worth the value that they claimed it was.
That's how it works in Illinois. Even when your home value decreases, your property taxes continue to increase.
We pay the bill, but I have no money to pay for having a meal.
The government is stealing your home. Listen to Mike S. in Naperville.
We're overtaxed, and my home value is not appreciated because of how much we're paying in property taxes.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people, taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this story comes to us out of Ohio. A school resource officer placed on administrative leave. She
exposed herself to a younger child.
No. Thankfully, it's not one of those.
Problem.
She wants kids to pay attention in class.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So, Marissa Buskowski, without warning, activated a taser a few feet from a junior sleeping in a classroom at Liberatory Prep in Smithville, Ohio.
Wake up! Did it sound like that?
She did take her taser. She did remove the cartridge from it and use the taser. The teen was awoken by a combination of the taser's sparking noise and the commotion it caused in the classroom. So she didn't actually tase him. Don't tase me, bro! It was just that.
But it sounded like...
Yeah.
Well, that,
what's wrong with
that'll
that?
make you pay attention.
She's accused of using a taser to wake up a sleeping student on this installment of the People's Court. Doug Llewellyn when you need him. Yeah, our interest is in the safety of the students, so hearing that go off was a little alarming.
Well, did you ever...
She could have fired a warning shot.
No, did you ever fall asleep in class? Come on.
No.
Start drooling on your notepad and then your notes turn into a squiggly line?
No, but
you're falling asleep while you're listening to the professor.
That example is so specific, I assume you're talking about yourself.
No, I never would do that.
Uh-huh.
I always sat in the
doodling
first
on your
row.
Trapper Keeper, Amy Jacobson plus Edward James Olmos, Mrs. Edward James Olmos.
I said no, okay? Just made out. Oh, it's
gross.
It's so gross. At Channel 5, they used to put pictures.
The hair
They used to put pictures of him on my car, on the windshield of my car. So I'd get, I'd come home and I'd get in my car. And then like, he misses you, Amy.
They put those pictures there.
They did.
Yeah. The
It was
hair
so
on that
funny.
guy's
As Mike
face.
McGovern did it. I know Mike McGovern's
The hair on Edward James Olmos' face is more disgusting than the hair on that woman's tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that story?
Yeah, this woman, she got into a car accident and she was being treated with antibiotics.
Yes.
And all of a sudden she started like, I got a gritty feeling on my mouth. And she was growing black hair on her tongue.
So it's looks like Burt Reynolds' chest. May he rest in peace.
By the way, I wasn't here on Friday. Did you talk about the passing?
We did. Mike Scott and I had a good cry over it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So they decided, was this poor hygiene? Was this use of tobacco? No, this was because of the type of antibiotics that she was taking.
Well,
the good news is she stopped
apparently.
taking the antibiotics, and it's much better now. Eventually, the hair on her tongue went away. Do you want to make out? Who wants a kiss?
A hirsute tongue. It's sort of a novelty. You know what that feels like. Anyway, I mean, getting back, and we went
I'm sorry.
2 tangents off here. Getting back to this resource officer. What about that? I mean, it's a little fun. A little sparks fly. It's not. She didn't tase the kid.
So she took out the cartridge, but you still heard the noise. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Keep him awake. He'll never fall asleep in class again.
I called it an unfortunate incident.
Why?
I think it's
not unfortunate.
Yeah,
Fortunate.
I think it's mind your P's and Q's in class. Speaking of which, and maybe if Miss Boskowski gets bounced from that school in Ohio, we can send her down to Georgia with a paddle.
And we'll be discussing that story. Corporal punishment returns to a school, but first let's go into the newsroom. Catch up with news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Looks like Mr. Olmos has another television hit on his hands, though, upcoming very soon. The new the new Mayans replaces the motorcycle gang out of a show out of California. He's patriarch of a Mexican
I hope he can
family.
throw Philip Michael Thomas a bone. I mean, come on, man.
He needs one. You're right about that. 57 degrees, blue skies outside. And the last time we saw the midsection of the East Coast staring down a hurricane like this, Dwight Eisenhower was in the White House. And Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio, remember them? They were newlyweds. Hurricane Florence could inflict the hardest hurricane punch seen by the Carolinas in more than 60 years. With rain and wind of more than 130 miles an hour, North Carolina has been hit by only one other Category 4 storm since reliable record-keeping began in the 1850s, and that was Hurricane Hazel in 1954. Our reporter Jay Gray is on the beach at Carolina Beach, North Carolina.
Beachside. Things are just about perfect right now, but the situation along the South Atlantic shoreline is expected to change dramatically. Florence is a monster, a major hurricane visible from space, churning in the Atlantic, gathering strength and pushing toward the coast. Hundreds of thousands in the strike zone are getting ready, gathering plywood to board windows and sandbags to block floodwaters. There's been a run on generators and everything else needed to ride out the storm. Jay Gray, NBC News. Carolina Beach, North Carolina.
And just moments ago, Virginia's governor ordered the evacuation of 300,000 residents of low-lying areas due to Florence. President Donald Trump marking 17 years since the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, visiting the Pennsylvania field that became a September 11 memorial. The president and his wife participating in a somber remembrance in Shanksville. Officials say the death toll from a bus that plunged off a road in South India today has risen to 45 and may go higher. No one is in custody after 3 teens were shot near Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's South Side. Police say the teens were walking yesterday near 91st and Langley when someone inside of a vehicle jumped out and opened fire. Charges are pending after a man was killed in a stabbing in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. Police say an argument broke out near 54th and Aberdeen. The victim died at a nearby hospital. The suspected attacker was arrested. It's been 1 year since a Chicago woman was found dead in a suburban Rosemont hotel freezer. Family of Kanika Jenkins is still demanding an independent investigation into her death. Brewers edge the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley Field. Brewers now within a game of the Cubs in the NL Central. Royals trim the White Sox 4-3-10. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always wants the truth.
Other than improving, how has the United States changed since Donald Trump became president? Tell me a way in which it has become worse. They make up lies. There's more racism, there's more anti-Semitism. It's all lies. You know that in your own life. They make up things. They just make up things. They have to, because leftism is total myth.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at GurneeDDS.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in Dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Tri-State southbound traffic's heavy up Plain to Bradley and from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park, northbound from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway type leads to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway 31 to Washington. Northbound Veterans Memorial, Fountain, Roosevelt. 53 has road work delays southbound Brand to Higgins. Eden's 35 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 32 minutes from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to the Circle. 48 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed Irving Park to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. There is a dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m., especially for the south and western suburbs. Mostly sunny later today, high 77. 58 and clear overnight. Sunny and a high near 80 tomorrow is near the actual high temperature scheduled for the day. 79 Thursday, 82 on Friday, and 82 on Saturday. Currently 58. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and look what we got in the old mailbag today.
This is so sweet because we had them on our program. Ike Bites, they're up in Milwaukee, and they employ people with special needs, people who, make the dog treats, and they package them themselves, bake them themselves, and then they wrap them and they put a picture of themselves on each bag, so you know personally who made the treats. And some are star shaped, some are, dog bone shaped. And I have to tell you, Ike Bites, my dog loves their treats, and they're all natural, gluten-free. It's the best thing that you could give your dog.
IkeBitesDogTreats.com, and it's the Eisenhower Center up in Milwaukee that serves persons with disabilities and the clients that came up with this idea to do dog treats as a business, and it seems to be going gangbusters, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Does Hayek like his treats?
Yeah.
Or did he already scarf down the whole bag?
No, we got a bunch of bags.
I know.
Yeah.
And I gave them to my neighbors, and their dogs love Ike Bites. Love them. But this picture, it's 8x10. If you're watching us on the web, you can see it. 8x10 photo, and everyone signed their name.
Yeah,
and it
it's
says,
cool.
"Thank you, Dan and Amy from Ike Bites and Eisenhower Center."
Nice.
Thank
Thank you, Eisenhower Center, and continued success with IkeBitesDogTreats.com. All right. So bringing corporal punishment back to school, making it cool again to take the paddle to the disruptive child. There it is. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you long for the days of corporal punishment, both at home and in school? This is at the Georgia School for Innovation and the Classics. It's a charter school. In this school, we take discipline very seriously, said the superintendent. There was a time where corporal punishment was kind of the norm in school, and you didn't have the problems that you have. Now, parents are being given a consent to paddle form, asking if they're all right with administrators hitting their child with a wooden paddle. It's no obligation. It's not required. The parent can give consent for us, or they can deny consent. Would you give consent for your child to be paddled? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, the principal, Jody, I'm going to butcher this, Bulanau?
Name assassinator.
Oh, wow. Jody Bulanau, yeah. He's actually the superintendent. You know, he sat down with a reporter. They're very open. Like, we're bringing this back, and we're not ashamed of it.
There was a time where corporal punishment was kind of the norm in school, and you didn't have the problems that you have. It's just one more tool that we have in our disciplinary toolbox.
And when he says toolbox, he means it literally.
It's a paddle. It's an old school paddle, similar to a fraternity sorority paddle.
We've also got the vice.
Well, this is how it's going to work. So if you misbehave once, you get a warning. You misbehave twice, you get a warning. You misbehave that third time, oh, you're getting it.
The form spells it out. The students will be taken into an office behind closed doors. The student will place their hands on their knees or piece of furniture and will be struck on the buttocks with a paddle. The form says no more than 3 licks should be given. Superintendent Bullano says the parent response has been across the board.
Great, it's about time. We're so glad that this is happening again. They should have never taken it out of schools, all the way to, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're doing that.
And a lot of the more than half of the parents have
wait.
signed up or said it's okay to paddle their kids.
Please, I mean, just a little bit of a tip for reporters. It's not a Tootsie Pop. Please don't use 3 licks and paddle and buttocks in the same sentence.
A 1, a 2, and a 3.
Nobody
Remember
does
that
the Tootsie Pop owl like you do.
Exactly. So yeah, there are parents who said no.
There's no obligation. It is not. It's not required. So a parent can either give consent for us to use that as a disciplinary measure, or they can deny consent.
The paddle's 24 inches in length, 6 inches in width, and 3/4 inches in thickness.
Fascinating. The dimensions
I'm just
are so
saying,
important.
They're not messing around, and it's 1, 2, 3, and that leaves a mark if anybody's been, paddled in a fraternity back in the 60s.
Yeah,
70s
okay.
and 80s.
How much are you allowed to wind up?
Well, that's the thing. They didn't talk about the backhand.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
velocity
that's
of
the real,
paddle
like,
on the
what kind of,
buttocks.
what's the limit on the paddle speed you're allowed to generate? That's the real question.
Well, and if you opt out, which, again,
get
parents have
waterboarded.
to. No, you have a 5-day suspension. So I think I'd take the beating, or would you take the 5-day suspension? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. I was going to bring my sorority paddle in today to just, so you could test it out on you.
Yeah, seems like old times. Okay.
You've always wanted to be a Kappa, Dan, right?
Yeah.
Kappa, Kappa, Gamma, come on.
Okay. I don't know what you all did in Iowa, but I don't want
We went
any
cow
part
tipping
of it.
and got smacked once. It's all right. They don't do that anymore because now everyone's pansies. Everything's so politically correct.
Right.
You can't even haze.
Yeah. Can't abuse animals anymore. I mean, it's so
come on.
fun at college.
No, but honestly, people were people were not beaten, but they'd got the ruler on the wrist in a lot of Catholic schools if you misbehaved.
Yeah, I mean, I Catholics.
What happened to you?
I got worked over a couple of times. I mean, they took the phone book and a pillow sack, so there's no marks were left. No question. I mean, they weren't messing around back in those days.
Well, you're 90, so.
They take you to the room. They bind your hands and feet, and then you got a couple of nuns that just take turns working you over until you apologize and say 3 Hail Marys. And that's how it should be.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Joe in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Amy, very good description of the paddle, but Amy, I thought size doesn't matter.
It's a myth, Joe. Thanks for the call. Paul in Elgin.
Hey, good morning. If the parents say it's okay, I don't understand why it's a problem. It's not. It's optional, and even if they want their kids to say "Thank you, sir, may I have another."
That's exactly. You're so naive, Paul. Obviously, your children are not yours. They are the state's. You are allowed to preside over your children so long as you comport with the diktats of the state, and that's where this would go. I mean, could you imagine the reaction we'd get in Chicago?
Oh, my gosh. They'd say it's barbaric. And some people are claiming that. I mean, paddling is legal in Georgia and, as you mentioned, 19 other states.
Yeah.
So it's legal. It's just people haven't been using it.
Let me give you a Prof parenting tip.
Oh, is this Prof parenting?
Well, I mean, Old Testament style. It's not really mine. I'm borrowing it.
Okay, and you're also borrowing fictitious children, but yeah, okay.
I have 2.
I'm sorry, creating fictitious.
I have 2 fictitious sons I'm raising.
But I heard that you have one on the way, too. Is that true?
I don't know if I'm
true
done.
or false?
I don't know if I'm done. The family may expand. I don't know. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Wow.
Yeah. Take him to the woodshed. Let's go. Don in Bloomingdale.
When I was in 6th grade back in the 60s, we all the guys threw a kid out in the hallway naked from the boys' locker room, and we all got called into the principal's office, stood in the hallway, grabbed our ankles, and she smacked us 4 times each with her sorority paddle from University of Alabama. I remember that for a fact.
Roll
and it
Tide.
had an impact on my life. And the best part, Dan, was she didn't call my parents to tell them about it, so it was all handled in-house. It was
And you
perfect.
never did it again, did you?
Absolutely not.
Are you a member of Tried-Out now?
Thanks for the call, Don. Appreciate it. Roll Tide. Also, too, hey,
That's awesome.
We're handling this in-house.
Yeah.
This is an in-house problem. And don't think about running to your parents because there's more where this came from.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Chip in St. Charles.
Dan, you being tag teamed by a couple of sweaty nuns, that's going to be stuck in my brain all day.
Good. I want you to think about that.
Them taking the kid behind closed doors and doing, and beating them, it defeats the purpose because you want to do it to the child in front of the whole class because what you're looking to do is actually humiliate him, and that will actually drive the kid more to behave himself than having it done to him behind closed doors.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well, that's fair, Chip. I mean, shame is an important motivator, but here's the other thing you have to consider. If you come back to class after having gone to the room and
you need a donut hole to sit on?
Yeah, and also you look like you just got the wrong end of Fight Club session. The kids will take notice when you come and you're all swollen up and you got,
I wouldn't be able to sit down. It's going to leave a mark. But the kid deserves it. I mean, if they're warned twice and then a third time they have a third infraction, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're like goofing off, like like a gym teacher used to like grab us by the ear and like pull us out of line.
Yeah.
For it's like fine. It's like a Three Stooges routine almost.
Right.
But you did look like a clown, and so you were sort of shamed in front of your classmates.
I had a teacher in Indian Grove. She would tie my hair in knots if we spoke. She's like, "Oh, look at the blonde." And me and Heidi Hoffman, I'll never forget. She would always pick on us because we were blonde, and she wasn't. It's all right.
To tie your hair in knots.
Yeah, she would take one side and the other side, and she's like, "I love blondes," and you were talking in class, and she would tie her hair in knots, but she's not there anymore.
And then what happened? What asylum
And she
was
tied
she
me and
sent
Heidi
to?
Hoffman's hair together.
Yeah.
No, it was Heidi. Yeah, it was
She
not
tied
good.
you to
It
a
wasn't
wind
good. I
turbine.
should have even told that story. I had PTSD now.
Mark in Plainfield.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I am so appalled by this. I think they should pray at the beginning of each class for everybody's soul.
All right. Thanks for the call, Mark. James in Westmont.
Yeah, you've mentioned dimensions. I wonder how many holes were placed in the paddle. For less wind resistance.
Yeah.
For the wind up, they actually
Sure.
worked out pretty well.
That's what
Thanks for the call. You got to put
Quinn McCarthy, our associate producer, said. You have to make sure that there's hold in the paddle so you have more speed. So the wind doesn't.
Or you just wind up more. I mean, you just have to put a gun on the thing so you don't exceed the allotted speed, right? You just put a radar gun on it. It's just like it's just like swing speed.
The
It's
paddle
the same
will
thing.
be made of wood, all in no holes. Okay.
I've got an alternative punishment.
What?
You know what's disappeared in grade schools around the country, and high schools to some extent that should reappear. Well, yeah, that's one thing. Think about humiliation. Think about
That's a form of bullying now.
Physical exertion.
Huh?
The climbing rope.
Oh, I love the climbing rope. You know what happened though? Some people would get to the top and they'd give up and they'd fall on the ground and seriously injure themselves.
What people were those? Which people were these?
Oh, it happened. That's why they got rid of the climbing rope. People were injured.
No, it's not why they got rid of it.
What about the pegboard? Where'd the pegboard go? Huh? And did you ever get to the top?
I climbed to the top of the rope.
So did I.
I'm exhausted. I'm going to leave. I let go.
You're celebrating. That's when you slide down the rope, but then
Yeah.
you get burns in the private area.
Okay, maybe at Hersey. I mean,
No, this is at Indian Grove.
if
River Trails too.
This op-ed jarred my memory from an attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the Journal. If you're over 40, you likely remember the scene in the corner of the gym. 3 menacing ropes dangled from the rafters, descending 25 feet or so to the unforgiving floor.
That's so true.
When I first laid eyes on them in the 4th grade, I couldn't say whether these ceiling serpents were activity or punishment.
Ceiling
What? Yeah, I mean,
Did you make it to the top?
Great episode of Freaks and Geeks about the climbing rope.
Okay. Uh-oh. Did you make it to the top of the rope?
Like climb the rope in gym class makes me feel kind of funny. Did I? No, not at first. I was a scrawny little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
And
I'm not this buff hunk. I wasn't this buff hunk of meat, this churning hunk of burning funk you see before you back in grade school.
So you never made it to the top of the
Took
rope.
time to sculpt this thing. Yeah, it was like, it's like intimidating, right? As a little kid.
It's so scary.
So why not do that? Why not make him do a physical activity that's
Do that in the
humiliating?
pegboard. God, I love
The
the
pegboard was tough, too.
But I finally figured it out. I nailed that beast.
Or pull-ups.
Oh, pull-ups.
Pull-ups are tough too, especially if you were like lanky, like I was. Gangly, I think is probably a better word.
I suffered from the same syndrome, my friend.
Yeah.
Gangly.
You know what it's like to hurt. Bill on the north side.
Yeah, they should bring the paddle to tennis to get some decorum back there for Serena.
Yeah, okay.
But the other thought is after they tell them to go see Father so-and-so and get some soothing salve for your buttocks.
Yeah,
This
okay.
This is a charter school.
Yeah,
Catholic school.
Yeah, you had to take it to a
Yeah,
dark,
thanks.
dark place.
Thanks
You
for
couldn't
ruining our fun.
You couldn't just keep it into the confines of discipline. We're talking about discipline here. We're not talking about,
I'm still bringing in my paddle tomorrow, just to try it out on you. See how it goes. Are you having a Me Too moment?
I'll tell you
now?
what.
Is this uncomfortable?
Just limit your use of the paddle to those Craigslist responses you get. All right, I really, not my thing. Don't have an interest.
Assume the position.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
People have long associated the Ozinga name with concrete, but truth be told, Ozinga has always been on a quest to create a better world. We want to help you build your business so you can provide for your family, create better jobs, and build your community. It's why we constantly engineer better concrete, haul raw materials, and supply cleaner fuel. Together, we can positively impact the places where we live, work, and play throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, go to ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
Chicago has long been a hub of architectural innovation, and the future of Chicago building isn't stopping anytime soon. At Ozinga, we believe it's important to continue pushing the boundaries of the construction industry, but it can't be accomplished alone. Let's build this city with ingenuity, sustainability, and with heart. But more importantly, let's build this city together.
Are you tired of seeing your credit card balances increase month after month after month? Well, you are not alone. According to a recent CNBC report, consumer debt is scheduled to reach $4 trillion. That's right, $4 trillion by the end of 2018. Summer vacations, day camp, sports camp, overnight camp, trips to see grandma and back to school supplies sound expensively familiar. Well, the bad news is there isn't a money fairy who's going to make your credit card debt disappear. The good news is home values have substantially increased, and Team Hochberg can help you consolidate your credit card debt with a cash-out refinance and substantially lower your monthly payments. This isn't the first 100th or 1,000th time you've heard a Team Hochberg advertisement encourage you to refinance. So what are you waiting for? Stop procrastinating. Pick up the phone and call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." That seems like a timeless bit of common sense advice.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-694-2640 now. That's 800-694-2640 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-694-2640 to learn more. 800-694-2640. That's 800-694-2640. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It is the anniversary of 9/11, so 17 years later, thinking about those who have no perspective, a generation, Zers, who have no perspective on 9/11. That's how old we are now, Amy, at 8:08.
But first, let's go newsroom. It's 8 o'clock, time for Fox News.
9/11, 17 years later. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That bell rang at the exact time the first hijacked plane hit the first of the Twin Towers in 2001. That started a long ceremony this morning at Ground Zero in New York. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live nearby.
There will be 6 bells in all, 1 each for the 4 attacks in New York, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and then 2 more at the exact times when the Twin Towers fell. Now, the names of nearly 3,000 people who were lost are being read.
And my uncle, Martin Lizzle. We love you, we miss you, we think about you every day, and continue to keep watching over me and my family.
This evening, twin beams of light will extend from Ground Zero into the sky, recalling the towers that once stood here, Dave.
Tanya, there will also be a ceremony at the Pentagon where a third hijacked plane hit. President Trump is on his way to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, going to the memorial near where United Flight 93 crashed in a field. That's the Tower of Voices sound, part of the memorial now, a chime for each of the 40 people killed when passengers fought back to stop the terrorist hijackers. Florence is still a Category 4 hurricane, but winds have dropped a bit to 130 miles per hour. However, it is expected to re-strengthen later today. Still on track to hit the Carolina coast, into Virginia Thursday, into Friday.
People do seem to be taking this storm seriously. We've seen long lines at stores and at gas stations. And although the immediate concern is the coast, Florence is expected to bring heavy rains far inland.
That's Fox's Jonathan Seri in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. There are evacuation orders in 3 states ahead of Florence. Meanwhile, in Hawaii, they're getting ready for Tropical Storm Olivia, expected to hit tonight into tomorrow. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sunshine in Chicago this morning. A dense fog advisory is up until around 9 a.m. 57 degrees on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, and here are the stories we are following on WIND Chicago. Firefighters and police are responding at this moment after a semi crashes into a apartment building, a residential building in Lansing this morning. Well, that semi struck the 2-story apartment building on Torrance Avenue, just south of 184th Street, a little after 5 a.m. Torrance Avenue remained shut down south of 184th. Several ambulances were sent to the scene. Nearly 3 hours after the crash, crews moments ago were able to extricate the driver from the cab of that semi-tractor trailer, which is buried in that residential building. Right now, it's not known if the building itself was occupied at the time of the crash. No one in custody after 3 teenagers were shot near the Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's south side. Police say the teens were walking yesterday near 91st and Langley when someone in a vehicle jumped out and fired shots. A 16 and 17-year-old remain hospitalized in critical condition. An 18-year-old is in serious condition. A West Suburban River Grove woman is accused of killing her boyfriend by running over him with a car at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Kathleen Volpita is charged with murder and being held in the DuPage County Jail on $2 million bond. A coroner's office report says the body of a 20-year-old man has been found nearly 2 weeks after his kayak capsized on Lake Michigan. Lake County Coroner's Office says Sebastian Duncan's body was found over the weekend. Duncan and another man went out on Lake Michigan in separate kayaks near Lake Forest and encountered rough water amid high winds and rough surf around 9 p.m. August 27. Chicago sports, Brewers edge the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley Field, and the Brew Crew now within a game of the Cubs for first place in the NL Central. Royals beat the White Sox 4-3 in 10 innings of work. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, small business sentiment rose to a record in August. The National Federation of Independent Business says a record number of business owners say it's a good time to expand. Tesla's plan to step up production of its electric cars includes cutting back on color options. Fortune says Tesla is no longer offering obsidian black and metallic silver as standard. You'll have to special order those colors at a higher price. Tesla will still offer its cars in 5 colors. Tesla shares rose 9% Monday after CEO Elon Musk pledged to deliver more than twice as many cars in the current quarter as the previous period. More people are eating their burgers and shakes at Sonic. The drive-in restaurant chain is predicting sales up more than 2% in the current quarter. The Dow dropped 59 points yesterday. NASDAQ up 21. S&P gained 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Miraboli, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
Hey, Chicago! Right now at VisionWorks, all prescription eyewear, every frame, every brand is 50% off. Yup, a nifty 50% thanks to our friends and family event. What's even better? It applies to both glasses and sunglasses. That's right. At the VisionWorks Friends and Family event, you can save 50% on all prescription eyewear. Why? Because we like you, Chicago. A lot. VisionWorks, we're here to help you. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Dr. Bob Arnott for Salonpas.
I'm training for the world's most grueling paddleboard race. 32 miles of open ocean, high winds and surf. Naturally, I get a lot of muscle pain. 50 years in medicine has taught me what to look for in a pain reliever. Powerful, targeted, non-addictive, and available without a prescription. I found it in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus. It has 2 powerful anesthetics that numb nerves right where it hurts. Salonpas gives me relief.
It is 8:08. Check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Lansing, Torrance remains closed. 186 Ridge, or truck to a building at 184. Eden's 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 38. Kennedy, an hour and 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 58 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, 390 to downtown, 50 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 34 minutes, ID to the merge Bishopwood, 50. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is a mess. Irving Park to North Avenue. 53 has roadwork delays southbound from Rand to Higgins. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's heavy from Fountain to Roosevelt. Southbound Army Trail to 22nd. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Madison Baggett.
Pleasant with plenty of sunshine today, high 77. Expect clear skies this evening, wind south 4 to 8 miles per hour, low 59. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, high 78. And then Thursday, mostly sunny, high 78. I'm Madison Baggett on AM 560, The Answer.
60 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO.com. Call 773-447-5448 and get the sun out of your eyes.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, on this 17th anniversary of 9/11. The question, do you think we'll ever get back to that 9/12 moment? You know, the 9/12 movement even that was started, the idea that we came together as a nation after the greatest terrorist attack on U.S. soil in American history and put political differences and other pedestrian problems aside to unify against a nation that was under siege from an outside threat and an outside threat that had made its way inside the country. And now, less than 2 decades later, what have we talked about in the context of the last year of our politics? The coming Civil War. It's a pretty big sea change in a short period of time. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't legitimate reasons for it. There are real cultural differences of opinion and political differences of opinion. There's what we have allowed to happen to our culture where politics insinuates itself and infects every aspect of our life in a way that I don't think it certainly was not as pronounced in the past. But what about that? Do you reflect on 9/11, 17 years ago, and your feelings and your experience after that, particularly those who lost loved ones in those attacks? And how do you think about that if you fast forward to 9/11, 2018? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro.
Well, I'm going to be paying attention when President Trump, he's going to be attending a ceremony in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where Flight 93 went down. They have a new memorial set up. It's beautiful. It's called The Voices, and victims' family members are going to be there.
And by the way,
and I want to see. I just want to hear what he's going to say.
And if you haven't seen, we were talking about it off the air. If you haven't seen United 93, you have to see that movie. I mean, it is tough,
so painful, but it's accurate, and it's just the heroism and what the people on the plane did, including Wheaton's very own Todd Beamer, who was captain of basketball at Wheaton College, grew up in the area and was just, he was a hero. And I'll never forget, I got the chance to interview that GTE airphone operator who spoke with Todd and let him know what was going on. One person on the plane was dead. The hijackers had knives. One had an alleged bomb strapped to him. And she gave them information. He was so calm. And then he had the signature phrase, "Let's roll." And he said the Lord's Prayer and 23rd Psalm with others of the passengers before they stormed the cockpit and took the plane down. so that it wouldn't swing around and hit the White House or any other building.
And so where are we 17 years later? Now, again, let's not be naive about this. You come together with others amidst a tragedy, amidst something that it was almost incomprehensible in terms of the magnitude of evil and death. And so you want to put other things aside, but then ultimately at some point you have to go back to living your lives. And in the everyday...
we have book releases today. I mean, Bob Woodward's releasing his book.
Well, in the everyday course of life, conflict will arise. Differences of opinion will come to the fore. You have elections where there are disagreements on candidates. You have political movements and cultural movements where there is disagreement. You have the performance of civic institutions that demand renewed scrutiny. So I'm not saying we can be sort of, not to cheapen it, but in this kumbaya drum circle for eternity after 9/11. But thinking about where you were in that place and thinking about where we are today, would you have predicted that the fabric of American society would be as frayed as it is less than 2 decades later?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. What I do remember is all the American flags that people displayed, for weeks after that happened. There were neighborhoods near Midway that every single home had an American flag outside of its house, or flags in the bay window. I thought that was beautiful. The people who lined up to donate blood, even though they had to come out there, Life Source came out there and said, we're not dealing with survivors right now. We are dealing with victims. Thank you for coming out, because people were trying to help. The long lines at the Hertz Rent-A-Car place at State and Kinsey, there where people are just desperate to get out of town because we didn't know when the airports were going to reopen, if ever. I mean, it was that you can even get in. They shut down I-90. You couldn't even get onto I-90 to get to the airport.
The first responders who made their way to New York City from around the country to help the first responders in New York City, in D.C. There are no shortage of moving examples of man's kindness to man.
And still to this day, there's 1,102 victims that have yet to be identified. They have bone fragments. Well, they know, but their loved one wants to have something so that they could do a proper burial. Some have just decided, being memorialized here on the spot's fine, but they're still trying to match DNA.
And now we're a country where half of us are deplorables and the other half are members of the resistance.
Yeah, I mean, President Obama on Friday tried to shame me for being a Republican. That's what I took away from his 20-minute speech.
No. You miss it. He's very concerned about the future of the Republican Party. He wants it to be a Republican Party he and Lincoln can be proud of. Yeah. Judy in Lamont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. I am one of the deplorables. Happy to be. I have kind of a circuitous route with my daughter. I just did my Facebook post that said 17 years ago I was sending her off to preschool, and when we got home, we talked about it. We, watched a little bit of it and answered the questions as best we could. Throughout the years, she always knew what it was about, and then we met some people that, didn't tell their kids until they were 8, 9, 10. When they were her age, they wanted to shelter them. We didn't shelter the kids. We explained it all to them. Fast forward to the past 2 years, she wanted to do school, and the best school for her was in New York, so I sent her off with a bug-out bag and all supplies ready to rock and roll. And, she just was ready. She knew about it. There was no, luckily there were no problems. There was a little attack that they did have near their school, but she was ready. We just, throughout the years, just, told them about it. There's no judging people. You just accept everybody for who they are and, try to teach them the best. But she's gone full circle and made it through school and, just knew a lot about it. So, we kind of take time out every year to, say a little prayer for those that passed away and lost their lives. And it's just one of those days that's really tough. And I do have papers from the Trib. I have the newspapers that I put on my Facebook post every year that say, never forget, please never forget this day. And I'm keeping those Trib papers forever. So thank you.
Thanks for the call, Judy. Appreciate that. I understand it's emotional. Holly in Hudson.
Good morning. My youngest daughter was born in April of 2001, and after the events happened that morning, my husband and I were in the travel business. He was leaving that day with 85 people to go to Istanbul. We just said this is going to change our lives forever, and in one way it did, but in another way it didn't. We mourned for our young kids' futures that day, and we just said they're going to grow up in such a different America. Their life is going to be so different from our life. But you know what? It wasn't, because America is so terrific and rebounded so quickly, and now we've sent all those kids off to school, and they did end up living a very terrific American life. And our oldest daughter decided to serve. She's at the Naval Academy, and so in a way it changed our lives forever, and in a way nothing changed, and that's because America rebounded so quickly and take it or leave it. You can't deny that the country rebounded in a way that none of us thought possible on that morning.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Holly. Appreciate those comments. Will in Skokie.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I think it was true that a lot of people did come together at 9/11, but also you had the outliers. You had the people, the various university professors who were saying, "Oh, America deserves this," and so on and so forth. You remember those guys, and I think it was kind of the beginning of the polarization that only grew from that point on. You were forced to take a side. So, plus I wanted to echo that previous person. My daughter went to the Naval Academy because of 9/11 as well. So,
thanks for the call.
Serving.
Thanks for the call, Will, and for your daughter's service.
I just remember 9/11. We were in front of the Hancock. I was working at NBC, and everybody so quiet. I've never heard downtown so quiet. Not one taxi cab honked his horn. People getting onto the bus, the men let the ladies get on first, and you could hear a pin drop. It was this strangest, most surreal thing I have ever experienced.
And then how quickly, if you can recall, did it return to the barbarism that's normal?
It wasn't. I mean, all the people that were here from foreign countries were all there in the foyer and in the bar area of the Westin just watching TV because they didn't know when they were going to get home again. They could have been stuck there indefinitely. And then, we were just waiting because there was an ATA flight out of Indianapolis that they couldn't find. And they were thinking that, we'd have to get an F-16 to scramble to that to get it to, communicate with air traffic control because they couldn't find it, and they thought it was going to crash into the Hancock or the Sears Tower. And thank God that didn't happen.
Joe B. in Valpo.
Good morning. Right when I got in the car, you asked an interesting question. If we ever think that there's going to be a September 12th moment again, because I remember that, the patriotism after that happened. I think about it quite a lot, talk about it with my kids, and I tell them same thing I'm saying now. If, God forbid, this ever happens again, you're going to see quite a few people, these radicals on the left, the Obama followers, media outlets actually cheering the event. And that's how sad it's gotten in our politics and in our society today. I mean, we have a president that is unapologetically patriotic, pro-American, and you've never seen anybody so hated in the history of our country in a political figure.
Yeah,
so
but I think you're wrong. The media is not going to cheer on a terrorist attack.
Oh, you really don't believe that?
Oh, come
on the left?
No one in the right mind is going to cheer on a terrorist attack unless you have radicalized Muslims, possibly as neighbors.
You don't think there's people in this country that don't like America?
Yet they don't want Americans to die. They may be disappointed in what the direction the country is going, but no one's going to cheer on a terrorist
I hope I never
attack.
have to call back and say I told you so, because I hope
you
it never
don't.
happens. But there's some nuts out there.
Thanks for the call, Joe. But yeah, I mean, one made his way to a congressional softball game. You'll remember. Sean in Elmwood Park.
That's an interesting take because I take it a different direction. Will it ever be the same? And the answer isn't, do you have to pretend to love Trump or you're not a patriot? Because here's the way I look at it.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. So don't give me a straw man argument. Answer the question.
The answer is no. No, because the Republicans lie. They took the opportunity to do what? How come you never talk about the Patriot Act? How come you never talk about the government's omnipotence since September 11th? What is it? You just have to be a patriot? Rah, 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 rah. Or do you see what the money is? What about the money? You know, we're still in the war. All the patriots, you're still there. You just took guys from Afghanistan home days ago. We don't talk about that, though, huh? So the answer is, why won't it be that? Because politicians are scumbags, and they saw an opportunity to spend and make not just their power greater, but tremendous amounts of money. Look at the kind of numbers you're talking about. And as far as the economy, what do you mean rebound? We've never even come close to rebounding. The trajectory has changed. There's no rebound. And not to mention what you've done to the Middle East. What, are you kidding me? Do you just have to put red, white, and blue glasses on, or can you think?
Thanks for the call, Sean. It's dizzying as it was. Covered a lot of turf, sort of.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Don't you love to fall asleep with the windows open, but are you really sleeping as well as you could? The MyPillow buy one free offer is back, and if you haven't bought your MyPillow yet, here's your chance to get one for yourself, a loved one, or give one away maybe as a gift. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need regardless of sleep position. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache, and MyPillow is made in America. Washable, dryable, has a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee, so go online now or call for this great buy one, get one free deal. Plus, you can also get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers I've been telling you about, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves. Why? You can, when he gets it dirty, you can just throw it in the washer and dryer. There's luxurious cotton sheets and pillowcases and more. Find it all at MyPillow.com. And don't forget, when you go to checkout, type in Amy and you'll see the difference immediately. 30% off your entire order. Or go old school and call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Virtu Financial Operating is seeking a wireless strategy engineer in Chicago, Illinois to use point-to-point analog data transmission systems, including antenna design and RF principles. The position requires a bachelor's degree and 3 years of related experience. Send resumes to Virtu Financial Operating, attention Kathleen Valiente, at 307 Campcraft Road, Austin, West Lake Hills, Texas, 78746. You must use reference job title and code WSE-IL.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I just wanted to keep you up to date on how things are progressing. So I'm getting Balance of Nature every month, maybe sometimes twice a month from my friend who had MRI done, CAT scan last week. A very good friend of ours who's a teaching nurse, told me 2 years ago she's going to be gone within 6 months. I'm so happy that for Balance of Nature because anything else was just not doing it for her.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, one voice of the new generation that's being amplified by the D.C. Press Corps is David Hogg, Parkland student. It's David Hogg and the other Parkland students. That's how the media has branded.
Yeah, they do have names, but we don't know who they are. And they're pretty much a traveling show. They spent the summer. They were in Chicago 2 different times.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to the West Coast, and now they're back, and now they're up in Canada. You know there.
To Fox's credit, they have profiled Kyle Kashuv, who was a Parkland student as well, survived that shooting, that horrific shooting, and has a different opinion on guns, and his opinion is worthy of consideration as well, certainly as worthy as David Hogg's. Don't believe me? Well, consider it. David Hogg showed up with his band of Parkland students to Michael Moore's premiere of his anti-Trump documentary up in Canada last week, and here's what Hogg had to say.
I have a question for you guys. Who's ready to save America?
You have to line a bunch of Canadians to save America.
In Canada, yeah.
Who's ready to make America the country that we say it is on paper and make it the actual country that it wants to be?
I don't really understand what that means. But
Canadian.
Okay. Then he wants Canadians to get involved in U.S. elections, too. He had to get a little bit of an FEC ruling from Michael Moore.
I think Canadians can donate to political campaigns in the United States.
No.
They can't?
No.
Rhetorical question? No.
Not federal campaigns, at least. No.
Well,
Sorry.
vote here.
Why am I here?
Because...
yeah.
Learn from us. Don't let this happen here, because we need to come to you guys if we stay on this track.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the last thing we want
Need help from the Canadians.
Last thing we want Canada to do is to turn into America. That'd be terrible. Well said, David. And he had some other random thoughts he wanted to kind of throw out there, too, sort of a spaghetti against the wall.
To the IRS, if you're watching on Facebook,
why
aren't you auditing the President of the United States, who likely got $30 million from Russia via the NRA?
Conspiracy theory.
There's an active Department of Justice investigation into this that nobody's talking about. Also, we're still at war in Afghanistan. What the hell?
Powerful.
Like, I'm 18 years old. That war was started 17 years ago.
Oh, my God, really?
Think about that.
I mean...
you want to serve the country? Why doesn't he enlist?
The future of the Democrat Party, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and David Hogg. That's a lot of intellectual firepower.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Pick up our discussion about the midterms and the political landscape with Ramesh Ponnuru, columnist for Bloomberg's View, or for Bloomberg View, and senior editor National Review at 8:38.
And later, a homecoming Queen's double victory. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 60 degrees. 8:31. Hurricane Florence at this moment is weakening just a bit as it continues on its trek in the Atlantic Ocean toward the eastern seaboard. Reports from an Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft this hour indicate top winds are down to 130 miles an hour and dropping, but still that makes Florence a Category 4 storm, and that leaves those residents of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina preparing for the worst.
I'm declaring a state of emergency in the city of Richmond as we begin to mobilize city resources in preparation for the storm and take the necessary precautions.
Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney talking with reporters moments ago. Change fees for major airlines are being waived in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast ahead of the hurricane. Today is the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
There's a lot. It's a lot coming down here. It's like I relive a funeral every year.
This is where we are. This is where we come as a family every year.
The names of 3,000 who died in the attacks on the World Trade Center will be read aloud at the 9/11 memorial. President Trump and the First Lady will visit the Flight 93 National Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Military medical examiners have identified 2 U.S. servicemen's remains from the Korean War. They're from 55 boxes of remains North Korea turned over in July. Firefighters and area police responding after a semi crashes into a residential building in Lansing this morning. The The semi-tractor trailer smashed into the two-story apartment building on Torrance Avenue, just south of 184th Street. No one is in custody after 3 teens were shot near Chatham Academy High School on Chicago's south side. Police tell us the teens were walking yesterday near 91st and Langley when someone in a vehicle jumped out and fired shots. The 16 and 17-year-olds are hospitalized in critical condition. Chicago sports. Brewers edge the Cubs 3-2 at Wrigley Field. Right now, the Brewers have climbed to within a game of the Cubs for first place in the NL Central. Royals trimmed the White Sox 4-3-10. The news, a service of the T.J. Martell Foundation. The T.J. Martell Foundation, music's promise for a cure. To learn more, visit tjmartell.org, tjmartell.org. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always wants the truth.
Other than improving, how has the United States changed since Donald Trump became president? Tell me a way in which it has become worse. They make up lies. There's more racism, there's more anti-Semitism. It's all lies. You know that in your own life. They make up things. They just make up things. They have to, because leftism is total myth.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Cutting taxes, appointing conservative justices, and strengthening our military. Donald Trump is working to make America great again, but he can't do it alone. President Trump needs allies in the Senate. Joe Donnelly voted against our tax cuts, and he votes against Trump's policies almost 60% of the time. President Trump needs Mike Braun.
This election is about safety, and this election is about jobs. Democrats want to open borders. Democrats want to raise your taxes. We need Republicans in Congress. We want people like Mike Braun. He's a special man, and he is going to be a truly great senator.
Vote for Mike Braun for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014. Especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is jammed. Sayre to the Burns Circle, it is an hour and 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 58 minutes from Montrose, 35 on the Express. Outbound 48 to the airport. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Outbound it's 30. Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes, 390 to the Circle. 55 minutes from Manheim. Outbound it's 52 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed Montrose to North Avenue, northbound from Stevenson to Monroe. Tri-State northbound delays from 115th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway lead to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
At the opening bell, the Dow and NASDAQ and S&P are all trading a bit lower. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunshine and 77 today, clear and 58 overnight. Currently 60 degrees. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and California's done it again. We talked a little bit yesterday about the elimination of fossil fuels by 2045, so dictated by Governor Moonbeam, Yeah. Wouldn't want to pay the electricity bills in California, although I wouldn't want to pay the property taxes in Illinois either, but I do. And then they've got this. Here's one of the places identity politics ends, or I shouldn't say ends, consumes. Legislation passed by the California State Senate last month and the Assembly requires companies to appoint one woman to their boards of directors by the end of 2019. By the end of 2021, a 5-member board would need to have 2 women, while boards with 6 or more directors would need 3.
See, that's what's wrong.
No,
in this world.
What's wrong?
No, we should earn it.
Well, I thought you were getting to what's wrong is the obvious thing. What do you mean by woman, Dan? I'm so glad you asked. Because the legislature in California, in their infinite wisdom, define that for us. Female is an individual who self-identifies her gender as a woman without regard to the individual's designated sex at birth. So, of course, they've got that ground covered. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
transgenders are popping up everywhere.
That's
on the board of directors.
Yeah, that's got to be music to the ears of the Mountain View Mafia. Well, I'm sure they love the government dictating to them the composition of their boards of directors. For more on this topic and so many more, we're pleased to be joined by Ramesh Ponnuru, who, of course, is a columnist for Bloomberg View, as well as senior editor for National Review. Ramesh, before we get into the week that was for Judge Kavanaugh, how about that development in California, this innovation?
Yeah, well, it's, of course it happened in California. And it is an attempt to not just affect California residents, but really to transform American business. And you kind of wonder whether it's going to survive a legal challenge for that reason.
Yeah, but it doesn't say, force people to use a certain source of energy. Doesn't that seem illegal?
Well, I think the key question would be whether the state is sort of, is basically transgressing on federalism because it's taking, it's trying to basically set a national policy. Conservatives, we tend to think of federalism as something that the federal government interferes with and tramples on the states, but it's equally bad when the states try to do something as though they're the federal government.
Well, there you go. Quotas, energy policy, these are all matters that could be taken up by the High Court in some form or fashion, depending on what actually makes its way into law. And so the Kavanaugh hearings last week, concluding with the witness testimony, your takeaway in terms of how Brett Kavanaugh stood up and his likelihood of confirmation?
Well, I think he did exceptionally well. I think he was unflappable in circumstances that would have been difficult for most people. The circus-like atmosphere at the beginning and then the nasty personal attacks that increasingly dominated the Democratic questioning. None of it really threw him off his stride. There were 1 or 2 times where he seemed not to understand what the Democrats were trying to get at, but that I think was understandable because some of what they were doing was so strange. I think that he is on track to confirmation, and I think that the fact the Democrats were reduced to coming up with these kind of ridiculous character-based attacks on Kavanaugh is a sign of the desperation that they have over his nomination.
Not to mention references to Kirk Douglas movies. That's sort of the last act of a desperate man, isn't it?
Senator Cory Booker, I really think, I'm not a Democratic presidential primary voter, so I'm not going to say how this is playing with his intended audience. But for everybody else, it sure seems as though Senator beclowned himself by pulling this ridiculous stunt and pretending that he was some sort of hero in disclosing classified information, which turned out not to be particularly important or classified. But if that's the kind of theater that the Democratic primary voters respond to, I guess it will have been worth it for him.
Well, do you think it's time to end these confirmation hearings? I mean, they turn into a circus show. They had, almost 90 people arrested during the Kavanaugh hearing?
We didn't have Supreme Court confirmation hearings for most of the U.S. history. And, it may be that there was a time and a place where it made sense, and under today's extreme partisanship, it doesn't. There were some exchanges that made sense and that were interesting and enlightening. I think Senator Cruz and Senator Lee and Senator Sass on the Republican side did a very good job of asking questions. And I think that even on the Democratic side, the ones who weren't running for president, Senator Coons of Delaware and Senator Klobuchar of Minnesota, who I don't think is running for president, although you sometimes hear talk about that. I think they did a creditable job, but the circus and the innuendo were real black marks on the Senate.
Speaking of those senators and zeroing in on Ben Sass, what was your reaction to his remark over the weekend that, he thinks about leaving the Republican Party and just being unaffiliated as United States Senator every day because of the reality TV show that is the Trump administration and the melodrama associated with Trump's inner sanctum, if you will. Is that wise for Sass? Does that signal a frustration within Republican ranks that will negatively translate in the midterms?
Well, I think that the frustration that Senator Sass feels is widely shared among his colleagues. I am generally an admirer of the senator, and it's certainly true that there are other voters in that same boat. So, there do seem to have been some departures from the Republican Party in the population at large over the last few years. That said, I think that either you do it or you don't, but there's no point in making a big public display about agonizing over it.
Well, and the interesting thing, too, is even those that have expressed frustration with Trump previously have had sort of hot and cold relationships with him. It's interesting to see how some of them have come around. I mean, I can't help but immediately think of Lindsey Graham, and even with how close he was to McCain, Lindsey Graham has been stalwart for Trump with respect to an investigation that he gave a lot of latitude to, which is the Mueller investigation, and talking even this past weekend about this anonymous op-ed emanating from the Trump administration within it, allegedly, is indicative of how little they have, the left and Mueller, in terms of evidence of Russian collusion and any substantive outcome from this investigation. So it's just really interesting to see somebody like Lindsey Graham running interference for Trump when others like Sass are not.
Yeah, well, and Graham has gone so far as to suggest that he would be open to replacing Jeff Sessions as Attorney General so that Trump could have an AG that he has confidence in. And Graham speaks for a lot of Republicans, too. I mean, there are a lot of Republicans who have found their estimation of President Trump increasing over the last several years and whose reservations have melted away over that time.
Your reaction to President Obama taking credit for the economy's performance under President Trump when he spoke at U of I last week?
So I think that I go back to the old-fashioned conservative view that we tend to exaggerate the role of presidents in determining the performance of the economy. So I don't think that it's all to Obama's credit, but I also don't think it's all to Trump's credit. I think that, we have a great big economy with scores of millions of private economic actors, and politicians tend to overestimate their own importance in all of it. That said, I do think that there are a couple of things that President Trump has done with congressional Republicans that are going to have exerted and are going to continue to exert a positive influence on the economy. I think on balance, the tax cut is a positive for the economy. I wish it weren't quite as much deficit financed as it is. The deregulation and the regulatory restraint in general should also be expected to raise the level of economic activity over the years. So I think that the president has legitimate bragging rights. And then, at the end of the day, regardless of the merits of this and the political back and forth, if you've got a good economy, the president and his party tend to get credit for it politically.
He is Ramesh Ponnuru, columnist for Bloomberg View, senior editor for National Review. Ramesh, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Stand by. All right, Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware, software, to hiring and managing IT staff can be a boondoggle. But there is a different solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. No vacation time. That's what Turnkey IT is all in small business packages for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more. Plus, new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable and highly capable employee for less than $10K per year? You don't have to with Turnkey IT. From one person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of UStore, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of UStore, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill wisely stated, "A nation that forgets its past has no future."
This surely resonates with at least one of our major political parties in America.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit AutomatedSYS.com.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan's favorite story. A homecoming queen with a double victory.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know how I love homecoming queens.
Because you never were one, right?
No, excuse me.
Were you prom queen but not homecoming queen?
I would. No offense to April Maloney. Homecoming queen is a much bigger deal. That whole school votes for homecoming queen. Prom queen, it's just the people who attend the dance.
I think April Maloney is going to take offense to that.
I think she will. Well, let me tell you about Kaylee Foster. She was crowned homecoming queen. I know. She got the winning field goal. Not only that, the game was in overtime, and the game was on the line.
Jack King, the holder, he looks at me and he's like, "It's okay, Kaylee. Just kick it, like you always do. It's okay." And the next thing I know, everyone is right there. Just a nice group hug.
Yeah, 7 of their 12 points came from her field goals, and then the game-winning extra point in overtime.
Was it 7 of their 12 points, or was it 7 of their 12 points?
I don't know what you're talking about, but she's gained national attention, but still stayed focused.
I just turned my phone off before I got to the ACT, and I was like, I'm not going to think about anything. I'm just going to think about the test, and then once it's over, I can think about tonight and last night and how much fun I'm going to have.
Yeah,
what did she get on the ACT?
I don't know. She took it Saturday. She was homecoming queen, kicked the winning field goal, had to take the ACTs the next morning. I mean, this is a very, very busy girl, but the guys on the team never treated her any differently.
I really am. I was just going out there to kick an extra point, and now here we are. And they've always been very welcoming of me and what I'm trying to do. They don't really treat me any differently, other than I don't go in the locker room.
Why not?
She doesn't, because she doesn't want to. She's not one of those that's demanding equality. She gets it.
I love the guys. That sounds really weird.
They love
I love the relationships that I've made with them. I don't have brothers. I just have my one sister. But like just being around them, like it gives me like a bunch of brothers.
By the way, just a point of order.
She's hot. I'm
using the girls' room, locker room, and them using the boys' locker room, that is not inequality.
No, I'm saying that
Yeah.
she's not one of those, if
I
I'm on
know,
the team, then
I
I
know.
demand to be with the team at every step of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her parents have always been supportive of, did I just say like?
Yeah, you're
Oh, boy.
you're talking like a homecoming queen. I get it.
So rude. Her parents are supportive, Dan.
Well, I didn't really have the heart to tell her no, so I said, her dad will. So I said, go ask your dad. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like a
I
pretty
know
good
where she
idea.
gets
And he
it
signed the
from.
permission slip and never gave it a second thought. So
I've always told the girls, life's an opportunity. Go see what you can do.
Yeah.
And they've both taken the advice on that and both exceeded at everything they've done.
Yeah, that's good.
She also plays soccer. That's why she has such a strong leg, and she runs track. So hopefully she'll attend the University of Iowa, maybe be a backup kicker. That would be really fun.
And exceed all of your accomplishments, both in terms of popularity and athletics.
Amundsen High School, where Peyton plays, they had a female kicker, but she graduated last year. She was on the team for 3 years. She was pretty good.
Did they have a male homecoming queen? Or are we not there yet?
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. We want to give a big shout out. Happy birthday to Lorraine, who lives in Oak Forest. And Dan, she's your age. She turns 95 years old today. So.
It's nice. Good company, me and Lorraine.
Also, thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, Quinn McCarthy, associate producer, Keith Conrad, our executive director, and thanks to you for making us part of your morning. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Have a wonderful day. It's going to be sunny and 82 degrees. Now let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
5 jurors chosen in the Van Dyke murder